Allen Rossum is deep, and we're underway from Lambeau. Rossum from the 5, trying to cut it to the outside. And Rossum looking for an angle. Allen Rossum down the sideline. And he's out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line. A 34-yard return for the former Eagle. And here is Brett Favre. It happened, the injury in the third quarter last week. Warren Sapp fell on it. A mid-foot sprain to the left foot. Now remember, 5 years ago, he suffered a severely sprained ankle against Minnesota. Nobody thought Favre would play the next week against Chicago. He threw 5 touchdowns against the Bears.
And that's just outstanding concentration, that he can just mentally get through the pain process and go out and start this week.
Packers open up in their base offense. Movement on the right side of the Indianapolis defensive line. The left side of the offensive line for Green Bay. And the Packers are going to suffer a penalty.
False start. Number 76, offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Tom White, the veteran referee. Not expected back this season because of the knee injury. Here's Favre on a rollout, throwing on the run. And William Henderson with a catch at the 40-yard line. Dwight Hollier combining with Cornelius Bennett. How about Favre rolling out on the first play from scrimmage?
And I think he wants to set the tempo right away to show Indianapolis that he is injured, but he's not injured, and he's going to let them know that he can roll out of the pocket from play 1. That plants a seed in the defensive line. Now they got to say, hey, it doesn't look like he's really hurt. Now what do? We wanted to set our rush for a pocket rusher. He's already opened it up on the first play.
7 yards on first down. Favre getting the instructions from the sidelines. Last week marked just the 3rd time in his 9 years in Green Bay that he had been forced out of a game with an injury.
It's amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
For the position he plays, that's unheard of. On 2nd and 8, Favre to throw it again. Fires. Wide open, Schrader. Into Indy territory and down at the 41. New set of downs for Green Bay to work with. That's an 18-yard connection. And a 1st and 10 at the Colts 41. Antonio Freeman, the motion man. On the handoff, Amon Green gets the carry straight ahead. And he takes it for 4 yards, comes up shy of the 35. Ellis Johnson, first man to bring him down.
And Ian, it's so key for this offense to run the ball. Set the tone and the tempo right off the bat with Amon Green. Here's a guy who runs a 4.18 40, has tremendous speed, but still has the size and strength to take it outside the pocket. And they really need him because Dorsey Levens, it looks like, he may not come back for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, Sherman told us that if this team makes the playoffs, Levens may be available. But right now, Green is the featured running back. Former Seattle Seahawks, Sherman was the offensive coordinator there last year under Holmgren and then brought him in a trade. Favre throwing. Incomplete. Brett Favre was looking for Freeman. And it would have been a big gainer on 2nd down. It'll be 3rd and 6.
And one thing I've noticed already with Brett Favre is his mechanics are a little off because his left foot is affecting him. That's his plant foot, but his push foot's his right foot. Here, keep an eye on his feet. Keep an eye on that foot movement right there. Watch his feet. His mechanics are never perfect, but he's leaning and almost making sure that he's using all arm instead of his legs. He's got to put his legs into it if he wants to be an efficient passer, but he's using his arm a lot, and here he's protecting his leg, protecting his foot right here. It's injured. He wants to make sure he doesn't get it stepped on, get it out of the way, make sure he protects it when he throws.
On a 3rd and 6, Bubba Franks, the tight end, the motion man. Here's Favre, passing it, fires, and too low for Freeman. Freeman was open for a moment, but Favre could not deliver. And the Packers face 4th down.
And I think this is going to be a problem for Brett Favre, his accuracy in this game until he settles down in the game. But this ball is low. This is a nice route by Antonio Freeman. Right there, he makes his break. He's open a step, but the ball is just too low for him to come up with.
Josh Bidwell, whose job may be in jeopardy. The Packers brought in Leo Aragus for a workout earlier this week, making a decision potentially on a new punter. Aragus, the former Raider. Bidwell in the air. Terrence Wilkins will not even get a chance. It is down just shy of the 6 by Rossum. So the Colts will be pinned back after the 31-yard punt. Brett Favre unsuccessful on his first drive. The rich history and tradition of Lambeau Field, just one of the many names. Vince Lombardi was a part of making this such a historical franchise. And the Indianapolis Colts dealing with weather conditions that they're not accustomed to. They usually play at home in the RCA Dome. And Manning on his first attempt loses the football. Peyton Manning forced to scoop it up, and it's a safety.
Nine, we talk about weather conditions right off the bat. The Colts are an indoor team when they play at home, obviously in the dome. Peyton Manning has to concentrate on holding on the football. Your hands are cold on the field. I was down there earlier. Right here, he just doesn't have a grip on the ball, and it gets away from him. But great presence to find that ball and come up with it. Peyton Manning saves his team points in this situation. But right here, it's his hands. They're not warm, doesn't have a good grasp on the ball, and he just slips when he's bringing his hand back.
He saves his team 5 points to be exact, as Green Bay takes a 2-0 lead.
And it was interesting when we talked to their head coach, Jim Moore. He said, hey, we don't talk about the weather. We don't want to make it a factor. And I think that's baloney. When I was a player, Joe, we talked about the weather. We wanted to make sure we were prepared and make sure every player knew, prepare mentally for the game and for the conditions.
Hard to believe a team that has been as successful as Indianapolis this year, -8 in their turnover ratio. Indy has been able to force 13 turnovers in their 7 wins. They have forced 0 turnovers in their 3 losses. Jim Mora's team, a pivotal 23-15 victory over the Jets on Sunday night after building a 17-0 lead. But right now they're down on the scoreboard 2-0. First play from scrimmage for Indy. It's a safety.
And it's an uphill battle from here, obviously. Peyton Manning looking over the shot to the defense on the sidelines. Before he was talking to Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, he stays on the sidelines. Not a critical situation. He just wants to settle him down and say, hey, it's only 2 points, Peyton. Let's go out and let's run our offense.
See the stats, 10 games last year to this year. They had 1 more win and a short kickoff taken at the 40-yard line and accelerating to the 45, William Henderson. So the Packers will have tremendous field position to start out their second drive of the day. A 6-yard return after the short kick by Kite. 2-0, Green Bay leading Indy. Green Bay with a 2-0 lead. Russell Maryland has been given credit for the safety. And the Packers now with a 1st and 10 at their own 46 on a pitch for Amon Green. He finds a hole and crosses midfield into Colts territory. Brought down to the 48. It's a gain of 6. Ross Verba with a nice block up front for Green to work with.
The Green Bay Packers want to establish the run as much as possible to take pressure off of quarterback Brett Favre. Usually after a big turnover like this, in a situation where you have great field position, you try to go for the jugular. Don't be too surprised. Brett Favre tries to throw one down the field to play.
Favre told us yesterday, initially last week after the injury, he thought the foot was broken.
And he said it kind of scared him because he doesn't know he's never really been injured. It's been 8.5 years. That's a long time. That's an eternity in the NFL.
Play action on 2nd and 4. Favre fires, complete to Schrader. And a first down for Green Bay. He's brought down at the 33 by Tyrone Poole. It's good for 14 yards through the air.
One thing about Bill Schrader, 6'3", going against Tyrone Poole, 5'8". As soon as he makes his break, he's getting respect out of Tyrone Poole. As soon as he makes a stop and break, there's distance between them. When you've got that separation and the strength of Brett Favre's arm, all you have to do is turn, and the ball's going to be there.
And Schrader has really developed over the years. You can go a couple of years back when Favre did not have the confidence in Schrader. He does now. His 34th catch of the season. Franks in motion. And here's Favre. Play fake. Steps up, Favre, good protection, floats one, incomplete. He was looking for Freeman on the crossing route, and Jeff Burris had the coverage.
One thing about Brett Favre, he likes to work the middle of the field. Antonio Freeman goes in motion, goes across the field. As soon as he plants right here, just slants across the field. The ball's too far out for him to get, but they're working the middle of the field. They feel there's too much green area in the middle of the field not to take advantage of it. The size of the receivers on the outside, if they can get inside position on the cornerbacks, it should be an easy receive.
Did you get the sense, though, when we spoke with Freeman, he's not in love with this offense right now?
No, he wants the ball. He says, I do the dirty work. Get me the ball inside. I'll run the slants. I'll run the crossing routes. That's what I do best.
On a 2nd and 10 from the 33. Give it to Green. Running in between the tackles, and Green is brought down at the 29. A gain of 4. Bernard Holsey with the stop. Amon Green, despite being in his 3rd year in the NFL, still among the youngest players on this roster. Younger than most of the rookies.
And I know that feeling. My first year in the NFL, I was 20. I didn't turn 21 until November, halfway through the season. Same with Amon Green. He's 23 years old in his 3rd year. And I know what he's kind of going through, because you feel at that point that you almost know everything, but you don't know anything. But still, when you look at the rookies, you're younger than the rookies that are coming in.
Green told us he was shocked when he heard about the trade from Seattle to Green Bay. He thought he was going to be a Seahawk for a long period of time. On a 3-wide receiver set, 3rd and 6. Packers already have a 2-0 lead. Here's Favre in the pocket. Across the middle, Schrader extending, losing the football at the last moment. Tony Blevins with the stop as Burris tried to scoop it up and take it. But it was whistled down. Will it be enough for the first down? No. A gain of 5, he needed 6.
And I said the receivers of Green Bay, they want to work the middle of the field and they're crossing routes and slants. And here he's going to lean out for the first down. Just not enough. He's short of the first down. That's a good call, but nice job of Brett Favre getting rid of the ball under duress. The Colts blitzed on the play.
And the Packers are going to go for it on a 4th and 1. Ball spotted at the 24. Would have been a 42-yard field goal attempt. 3 in the backfield. Favre, handoff. First down. Amon Green. He does the dirty work out front. And Green Bay will move the chains. Well, the durability of Brett Favre, unquestioned. In fact, Antonio Freeman told us he is one of the most mentally and physically tough players at any position in the NFL. Forget about just being a quarterback. There's the current streaks. Favre 136. And look at the drop-off to Peyton Manning and Steve Berline.
6 years. That's 6 years of playing.
Wow. On a 1st and 10 for Green Bay at the 23. Packers taking advantage of good field position. Favre, plenty of time. Favre with a pump fake and then slides down. Mobility was not there. And he's brought down to the 29 by Bernard Whittington, who touched him up. A loss of 6 on first down.
Now this is a case of Brett Favre with the injury to the foot, because Brett Favre normally would sprint away from the rush and make a play down the field. Here he gets tremendous blocking by his offensive line up front. The Colts only rush free. 4, he's looking downfield, pump fake, trying to make something happen. He sees the rush coming. Smart move by Brett Favre. Just go ahead, take the loss, come back and play another play.
First sack of the season for Bernard Whittington. The injury, in addition to the weather, certainly going to hamper what Favre can do on the move. Normally one of the best scramblers in the NFL, one of the most creative QBs of all time. 4-receiver look, but they'll run it. Green, and gets it to the 25. He picks up 5, not quite to the original line of scrimmage. Ellis Johnson in on the stop, and it will be 3rd and 11.
And when you look at Amon Green, he's not very big, not very physical to look at, but he's still 217 pounds. In Seattle, he was really their short yardage guy and goal line guy, and he could hammer the ball in between the tackles. He's a very physical runner between the tackles.
Mike Holmgren lost confidence in him. There's no getting around it. He was a fumbler, and Holmgren just did not show the confidence in allowing Green to become more of a feature in the offense.
And lucky for him, Mike Sherman did.
3rd and 11. Out of the shotgun. They broke out the shotgun for the first time last week. Rollout, Favre throwing on the run, and caught. Great grab by Schrader, and a late flag. Jeff Burris came in and laid out a hit. And it's working against Green Bay. A 15-yard pickup will be nullified.
Pass interference. Number 84. Offense, that's a 10-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Well, instead of getting inside the red zone, now Green Bay just has to think about field goal range.
Keep an eye on Bill Schrader right here. What they want to do is establish separation. Here, he just pushes off and turns inside. And you can't do that. Once you're down the field, you can't push off like that to create an area to catch the football. But what a nice job of executing this play. Brett Favre is going to do a nice job of rolling to his right. He's going to have difficulty going the other way.
Schrader made contact with the rookie David Macklin out of Penn State, 3rd-round pick. And it cost him. Now a 3rd and 21. Line of scrimmage is the 34. And this play never happens. Flags down again. So Tom White, busy man.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Play clock went to 00. Poor execution by Mike Sherman's club in the early going. They lead it 2-0.
And that's poor execution all the way around by Green Bay offensively, to have back-to-back penalties and not execute when you get great field position. You've got to take advantage of every chance you get when you get a good field position.
And now the field goal range becomes a major question. Line of scrimmage is the 39. They need yardage. Shotgun for Favre. Here's Favre in the pocket. Knocked up in the air. He was looking for Green. Incomplete. One of the problems with this offense for Green Bay right now, Ahman Green is not as accomplished a receiver as Dorsey Levens coming out of that backfield. Not that this one is his fault in particular.
No, because Ellis Johnson is right in his face. Now, that's a heck of a play by Ellis Johnson, the defensive tackle. He's been injured, had knee surgery, coming back, making his first start in the last couple of weeks. But that's reading a screen, staying with the back, and breaking on the ball for defensive tackle Ellis Johnson.
So circumstances have changed. They had a 42-yard field goal attempt if they wanted it earlier, but now Josh Bidwell boots it into the end zone and a touchback. Green Bay does nothing with their great field position because of penalties. 2-0. Packers in front. Green Bay 2, Indianapolis nothing. 6:05 to play in the first quarter from Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Packers defense coming up with the points so far for Green Bay. Colts second possession. Just one play from scrimmage. It was a safety on a handoff. Manning to James, trying to turn it upfield and did not get much. A yard and a half, maybe two. K.D. Williams with a stop. Peyton Manning told us earlier this week this is the first time he's ever been to Lambeau Field in all his travels as a son of an NFL quarterback. Never made it to Green Bay. And they're working out of the no huddle, something that was used so effectively in their victory over the Jets last week and earlier this season against the Oakland Raiders to start out. Manning dropping back, throwing. And Ken Dilger can't hold on. Manning put it to Dilger in stride in a matchup with K.D. Williams, and Dilger, one of the only members of the Colts ever to have made a trip to Lambeau Field.
But it was the preseason, so it was the warm part. But here's the catch. The Peyton Manning puts the ball right on the money. Ken Dilger needs to come up with this, but the mismatch they're looking for is against K.D. Williams, making his first start for the Green Bay Packers in stub linebacker, the strong linebacker position. Ex-Oakland Raider, started 8 games for the Raiders, but here's what you have. You've got 2 great tight ends in Indianapolis. Keep an eye on both of them, and Pollard and Dilger for the matchups.
Now a dime package for Green Bay. Indianapolis with a 3-receiver set. Shotgun on a 3rd and 9 for Manning. They are the best team in the NFL on 3rd down, converting them to first downs. Manning, moving pocket, Dilger with the catch, and short of a first down. Brought down at the 25 and a gain of 4. Todd McBride with the tackle, and the Colts will punt it.
Nice job by the Green Bay Packers defensive unit here. They're going to rush with their forward. They're going to drop back and cover. Peyton Manning wants to throw deep. Look at him. He's looking down the field to the center, to his left. Nothing open. Okay, drop it off to my safety valve. But a great tackle, one-on-one by Todd McBride in the open field on tight end Ken Dillon.
First opportunity for Hunter Smith. He's put up big numbers this season, averaging just under 47 yards per punt. Allen Rossum, dangerous return man. His longest so far this season, 43 yards. Catches cleanly at the 32. Stutter step, breaks one tackle. Dances his way now. And he's brought down at the 37. Philip Glover with the stop on special teams for Indy. A 5-yard return, 42-yard punt, and a 2-0 Green Bay lead in the first. Green Bay Packers at 4-6, a 20-15 loss to Tampa Bay last week. They couldn't build on their dramatic Minnesota victory from the week before on Monday night. Allen Rossum is in on offense. A fake to Rossum, they take it the other side. Ahman Green. Twirled down at the 25. Some chicanery from the Green Bay offense. And the Colts were fooled, a 36-yard run.
And last week they ran the exact same play, but they handed it to Allen Rossum. He gained 16 yards. This set up this play. You hand it to your back of Ahman Green. He takes it down the field and gets to the corner with his speed. As soon as he turns the corner, it's difficult to catch him. The defense finally catches up to him. But this play set up last week, and it's perfectly because the defense thinks it's going to Rossum right there. They go to Rossum. All of a sudden, Ahman Green keeps the ball, fouls his blockers, and uses his speed. Once he gets to the edge, it's just a running game right now.
Longest run of the season for Rossum, 36 yards. Damon Parker gets the call, taking it straight up the middle for 2. Josh Williams with a stop on that Indianapolis defensive line. It's 2 of the best in the NFL. Brett Favre and Peyton Manning. Right now it's Green Bay on the move with under 3.5 remaining in the first. Tyrone Davis, the man in motion. Here's Favre on 2nd and 8. Floats it to the outside, and a big stick there as Jeff Burris leveled Damon Parker. Modest gain of a yard, and Burris was ready.
That's one of those plays you want to look at Brett Favre. If you're the the receiver coming out of the backfield to Mount Parker, why are you doing this to me? Here I'm open, but there's no way. You're going to see the defensive back break as soon as the ball's thrown, and that's an excellent one-on-one tackle by Jeff Burris in the open field.
Amon Green returns. Burris, who at 6 foot, listed at 6 foot, is the bigger of the two quarterbacks. Tyrone Poole at 5'8". Antonio Freeman told us that Poole's kind of like a little gnat.
He is, and the thing about it, he meant it in a respectful way.
Yes.
You know, he's just always there. You push him around, and he still comes back.
On 3rd and 7, incomplete. Donald Driver, the intended receiver, and Packers fans wanted a penalty. David Macklin had the coverage on the outside.
And Green Bay wants to use the height of their receivers. That's where they feel there's a mismatch. This is a ball that should be caught. And I think that's perfect timing. And if you look at that, just before the ball's there, David Macklin gets there, and it's almost simultaneously. I think that's a good call by the officiating crew.
Ryan Longwell, who has currently taken over the title of most accurate kicker of all time, 87% in his career. This is a 42-yard field goal attempt. Longwell, it's good. And the Packers now with a 5-0 lead on Indianapolis late in the first quarter. Our coverage from Green Bay, Wisconsin will continue. Lambeau Field, it's snowing just the way they like it here in Green Bay. 5-0 Pack. Green Bay in front with 2:33 to play in the first quarter. Long run by Amon Green, setting up a field goal from Ryan Longwell. And Longwell will now kick it off to Indianapolis, yet to get their offense going here in the first. Wilkins and Pathan are deep. This will be Wilkins. Little stop and go for Wilkins. Tripped up, went to one knee, and brought down at the 25. And a 1st and 10, line of scrimmage is the 24. Play action. Manning throws the deep ball over the middle. And incomplete. It was Pathan, the intended receiver. But it was off to the side of the 3rd-year pro from Washington.
This is a pretty post route by Pathan. Going in motion, Pathan plants, and watch this. He's wide open. Peyton Manning generally never misses this throw. Right between the hash marks, ball's thrown behind him. If that ball's thrown on time, he's off to the races.
Now a 2nd and 10 from the 24. James by himself in the backfield. He'll get the carry. On the draw play, Edgerrin James, a warm weather player his whole life. And he's swirled down at the 40-yard line. By far the most productive play we've seen from this Indy offense. Here's Manning, a long count on a 1st and 10 from the 40. James trying the other side now, and James is bottled up as he picks up just shy of 5 yards. Nate Wayne will be given credit for the stop along with Russell Maryland.
And I believe they need more of this on 1st down. Give the ball to Edgerrin James. They've been going with too much play-action pass right off the bat. I believe you have to establish the run first, then go to the play-action pass, because you get the linebackers to cheat up a step. You'll also get the corner to cheat up a step. But you got to give the ball to Edgerrin James. Let him establish the running attack first.
Now a 2nd and 6. Manning straight back, throwing on a slant, and incomplete. Cledius Hunt getting a piece of it at the line of scrimmage. And how much is this weather hampering a Peyton Manning right now? This is something he's not accustomed to either. Earlier today, Manning came out right around 10:30 local time here in the Midwest, just to test out the field, do some stretching exercises. And little did he know, on the first play from scrimmage, wouldn't even be able to grip the football, a safety. 1 minute left, first quarter. Manning changing the play, will now operate out of the shotgun. On a 3rd and 6, Manning stepping up, throwing, and complete to Dilger. 1st down for Indianapolis at the Green Bay 45, a gain of 11. Todd McBride with Sharper to make the stop on Dilger.
Now, a lot of teams aren't very efficient in the no-huddle offense. They have problems with it because you can either create a rhythm for your offense or you won't get in rhythm offensively. And right now, Indianapolis, they've been very, very good at it this year, and they're just trying to find their stride in this game.
Jim Moore told us, bottom line, you have to have the type of quarterback that can handle it. On the handoff, Edgerrin James is spilled out by Leroy Butler, and it's a loss of 2 on the play. Butler still making plays in his 11th year out of Florida State.
And Leroy Butler, he smells this right. He's close to the line of scrimmage. He's walking up, cheating up. All of a sudden, he sees the ball tossed out to Adrian James. He's going to attack the line of scrimmage. He wants to make something happen. And I think defensively, they're starting to get a feel. Indianapolis on first down, going to Adrian James.
Time trickling away here in the first quarter, and that will do it. End of one at Lambeau. Green Bay with a 5-0 lead over Indianapolis. We'll come back to Green Bay, Wisconsin, famed Lambeau Field right after this message. The NFL on CBS. Second quarter action from Green Bay. Welcome back, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Mark May. 5-0, the Packers leading the Colts. But Indianapolis is on the move. Brett Favre getting the start here after question marks earlier in the week. Vonnie Holliday is taking part in his first play today. He's lining up at defensive end on a 2nd and 12 for Manning. Steps up, good protection, floats it across the middle. E.G. Green is spun down at the 46 by Nate Wayne. Good tackling by Wayne, limits him to a gain of 2.
Peyton Manning, personal protectors right up front. They do a great job of sliding down the line of scrimmage. They slide their line of scrimmage and they play zone from there. But here's the route right here. And watch the official in the middle. He's going to get in the way. They're just going to run through him. E.G. Green right there running through. Officials down in the middle. Don't worry about him. Stay with your route. But Nate Wayne has the speed to stay with the wide receivers. That's why they brought him in. Ed Donatello, the defensive coordinator, brought him in from Denver when he came in. He thought he would help this defense. Played right into his hands. He's been a great asset for the defense.
Manning going to the line of scrimmage, instructing his offensive lineman. And he'll change this play out of the shotgun. Manning throwing on 3rd and long. Too high for Green. Incomplete. A near collision with Darren Sharper. Maybe Green heard footsteps. It didn't matter.
Darren Sharper was all over this route, but Peyton Manning, his balls have not been there today. That's a ball that if you're concentrating on it and ready in the route, E.G. Green should have this ball. Peyton Manning knows that. Right now they're not in sync offensively. And for Peyton Manning, it could be the weather, it could be for the wide receivers not concentrating enough. But here's the situation for Indianapolis. I think they should go back to their bread and butter offense.
Colts coming up empty once again on the offensive end, and we'll see Hunter Smith. Smith puts it inside the 20, in fact inside the 15, down at the 13 by Rossum with a fair catch. 33-yard punt. 5-0 Green Bay over Indy. Peyton Manning went to the sideline, put the jacket on immediately here at Lambeau Field. Brett Favre has been going with no jacket on the sideline. He's a little more accustomed to the conditions. And a 1st and 10 at the 13 for Green Bay. Give it to Amon Green, trying to push the pile forward, and he picks up just 1 as Bernard Whittington is involved in the stop. Well, Brett Favre last week in that loss to Tampa Bay. 3rd quarter action. Take a look at Warren Sapp getting a grab of that left foot of Favre. Favre was forced to leave the game, and Matt Hasselbeck came in to replace him. Hasselbeck, the self-dubbed Mr. August, because of all the work that he does in preseason. Says he gets a lot of fan mail. He told us he doesn't get any in the month of November. Handoff, Amon Green again. Trying to run it off tackle. Larry Chester with the stop. And a gain of 3.5 or 4. Hasselbeck, though, we had a chance to speak with him yesterday. He handles his backup role very well. He knows playing behind Brett Favre, you're not going to see many reps.
The backup quarterback before he got here was Doug Peterson. When he got here, he said, well, how many snaps have you gotten? How long have you been? I've been here 7 years, so how many snaps? 7. 7 snaps? That's it? That's what happens when you play behind a durable quarterback in Brett Favre.
Hasselbeck, though, may get his opportunity down the line, not necessarily in a Green Bay uniform, but his reputation is building throughout the NFL, and I guarantee you there's a team out there that would take a chance on him via free agency down the road. On a 3rd and 6, Colts showing blitz, crowding the line. Here's Favre. Here comes the rush. Favre to Schrader, and a 1st down for Green Bay. Veering out of bounds at the 36-yard line. That's a gain of 19. Favre to Schrader has been the 1-2 punch so far in the passing game.
And the key on this, Brett Favre is able to read the blitz. He sees the blitz in front of him. He knows who the hot man is. It's from inside out. He's going to have the linebacker coming through the middle. It's a timing pattern. Here you're going to see the linebacker flash right there. All of a sudden, Brett Favre knows at that point, Mike Peterson's his guy on hot. Get rid of the football. Schrader reads that. He makes his break. He's covered one-on-one by a linebacker also, and Marcus Washington, and that's the mismatch that they want.
On a 1st down from the 36. Favre, play fake, Rush coming. Favre under some heat. Puts it upstairs and hooks up with Franks. Bubba Franks brought down in Colts territory at the 43. 21 yards through the air.
Now, this is a great working relationship, but keep an eye on number 30 right there. Watch him on Green. He's the one that's going to make the play go. A little fake there. All of a sudden, he sees someone coming free right here. Here's the late blitz. Pick it up. It allows Brett Favre to drift out and complete the pass to his big tight end down the field and play.
It was Tyrone Poole who came in as a late rusher on a corner blitz. And you're right. I'm on Green.
That's fun. That's Brett Favre saying, hey, this is what it's about.
You'll see that smile quite a bit. Again, a fake. Up the middle. It's Amon Green. The speedster taking it down the sideline. And out of bounds at the 18. They have fooled the Colts now twice on that interior fake.
Now, what makes this play go, these guys up here, but also the fake, but watch him on Green. He's going to hit it 100 miles an hour. Great fake by quarterback Brett Favre. Boom, hand the ball off straight ahead. All the defense is over here. They're on the wrong side of the field. Amon Green sees that, takes the ball, cuts to his left, picks up the additional yardage.
Green, 9 carries, 86 yards, and we are early in the second quarter. Green on his way to maybe having a career day. On the pitch, Damon Parker trying to cut it back, and Parker moving in the wrong direction. Stiff arm and forced to the sideline at the 26, and a late flag.
Bernard holds it. You have to think.
Indianapolis comes up with a big play on the defensive end, but if it's Holsey, it nullifies it.
There is no foul on the play.
Oh.
The runner was not out of bounds when the shove occurred.
Well, let's take another look at that because that's awful close. Because right now the running back's slowing down, believing he's out of bounds. At the end of the play, keep an eye on number 79. Right here, Tyrone Poole has him. Let's keep an eye if he's in or out of bounds. It's very close to the sidelines. No, he's in. Right there. You saw that last step, just barely in. He pushed him when he was out of bounds. Watch the bodies go, but keep an eye on his feet. Right there. Good call by the officiating crew.
So the loss on the play will back it up to the 26-yard line. Holsey just avoiding the penalty.
Another half a step, and that penalty flag sticks.
Clock is moving. 10.5 remaining in the second quarter. Green Bay with a 5-0 lead. On a 2nd and 17. Here's Favre. Stepping up. Throwing to the corner. Caught by Schrader. Diving for the pylon. Did he get in? No. Favre wants the touchdown. And they'll come up a yard shy. Throwing at Tyrone Poole. Bill Schrader taking advantage of the size difference.
And the key to this play, it starts up front. The big hoss is up front on the offensive line. Watch the protection. Brett Favre, no one's going to get close. Schrader on the outside, watch the route. Fake inside, goes back outside, use my height, come down with a reception. Nice ball. Brett Favre puts it exactly where it has to be. Beautiful pass by Favre and reception by Schrader. And trying to make something out of this right here. He's going to lean. That's a touchdown. They got to look at that. That is a touchdown.
Now, right now, Favre is at the line of scrimmage on a 1st and goal. Favre rolling out, throwing to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Tyrone Davis. Packers extend their lead. Brett Favre, his 13th touchdown of the season. Davis, 2nd receiving touchdown of the year for the 2nd-string tight end.
Nice job by Marco Rivera right there pulling out Brett Favre, sprinting to the right, looking for the opening. All you want to do is find the soft spot, the receiver that's open. That's exactly what he does. Touchdown for the Packers.
Extra point for Ryan Longwell. And the Packers with a 12-0 advantage. 9:45 mark, second quarter. Brett Favre-like conditions. Brett Favre-like results. 8-play, 87-yard drive for the Green Bay Packers, taking up just over 4 minutes of action. Brett Favre on the drive, 4 for 4 for 66 yards, including the touchdown throw to Davis. Here's Wilkins on the return for Indianapolis. Wilkins trying to turn it around the corner, and he cannot. Forced out of bounds at the 24-yard line by Charles Lee, a 15-yard return. Green Bay up 12-0 in the second quarter at Lambeau. Brett Favre, growing up in Mississippi, was a huge Archie Manning fan. Told us yesterday Archie was one of his idols and knows the Manning name was a pretty good one in the NFL. Peyton, on the other hand, grew up a Brett Favre fan, watching his games at Southern Miss. And then Manning told us when the Packers came into New Orleans a few years ago, Manning was at that game and watched Favre lead them back in the fourth quarter, a rally to win the game. Manning throwing on first down to Jerome Payton and complete to the 41-yard line. Tyrone Williams with the coverage. So far, the quarterback comparison, and it's been all Brett Favre in this matchup.
Brett Favre's just a master, loves the weather, and here's somebody that, if he's injured, doesn't matter. He fights through the pain and just puts it to the side and goes out and has fun.
Gave him forward progress to the 44, saying that he was touched there. On the handoff, Edgerrin James. And he is bottled up at the 50-yard line. That's a gain of 6 on first down. Clock is moving here in the second quarter. Look at the numbers so far for Manning and Favre.
Just efficient right there for Brett Favre. He just operates this offense, and when they don't turn the ball over, they're very good offensively.
Favre, no jacket, as mentioned. Temperature right around 27 degrees. The snow has virtually stopped here at Lambeau. On the handoff for James, and the Packers defense was ready. Nate Wayne leading the charge. And a loss of 1 on the play.
And this is a run blitz by Nate Wayne. Watch, he's going to come scooting right there. Nobody sees him. Here it is, one-on-one. No one blocks him. Great job. You see Marcus Pollard out there? That's his responsibility. Marcus Pollard has to get that backside backer. He doesn't get him. Runs through scot-free. One-on-one with Edgerrin James. Nice play by Nate Wayne.
And now a 3rd and 6 for the Colts. Line of scrimmage is the 48. Shotgun for Manning. 3 receivers set with Wilkins checking in as the 3rd wideout. In the pocket, Manning fires up high and incomplete. Nate Wayne getting a hand on it as Manning was trying to attack that secondary. And the Indianapolis Colts will punt it, trailing 12-0.
Keep an eye on the Green Bay front. They're going to run some twists and some stunts up here. But at the end of it, watch them get their hands up. As soon as Peyton Manning's ready to throw the ball, get your hands up in the air, distract them. That's exactly what they do. They make 2 great plays there. One, getting your hand up in front of Peyton Manning's face, and the other one is a linebacker tipping it away in Nate Wayne.
Hunter Smith will punt it. Are you feeling like you've seen this game before somewhere?
A couple of weeks ago, we had the game against Indianapolis and Chicago, and this is how Indianapolis started off. They started off very sluggish on offense, very slow on offense, and got themselves into a hole. They battled back at the end of the game, but not enough to win.
Jim Mora's team fell down 20-0 at halftime, 27-0 early in the 3rd quarter, and then came charging back, and they fell just short in their comeback attempt, 27-24. Penalty, though, against Green Bay. Manning incensed on the sidelines, and Mike Sherman is waiting to hear exactly what happened on that play. Hunter Smith was just waiting for the snap on a 4th and 6. Here's Tom White once again. White wants to find out exactly what the infraction was, and he'll have a conversation with the line judge.
Delay a game. Defense, number 24, attempting to cause a false start on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
It is rare that you see a call like that, and Brett Favre giving you the baloney signal. And now it'll be 4th and 1 for Indianapolis. Hunter Smith remains on the field. Now the Colts did have a fake last week on a field goal attempt, and Smith ran for a first down. He'll punt this one. Allen Rossum able to bring it in at the 13-yard line, and that's where the Packers will have it following the 34-yard punt by Smith. Peyton Manning just trying to figure things out so far in Green Bay. Titletown, USA, first visit to Green Bay for Indianapolis since 1988. The Colts won that matchup 20-13. In fact, they've won 3 of the last 4 in the series. From the 13-yard line, handoff to Amon Green, and he is stopped after a gain of 1. Such promise shown by this New Orleans Saints team under first-year head coach Jim Haslam.
They've got a tough schedule coming up. They've got St. Louis and Denver, so it's going to be difficult for the New Orleans Saints to get to the playoffs, I believe, at this point with those 2 injuries.
Long ball, Favre throwing it out on 2nd and 9. Donald Driver, and a flag down. The former track star Driver working that left sideline. And yep, it will be against Indy.
They are taking their shots at Tyrone Poole in this game. Doesn't matter who's over there, they're working that side of the field against Tyrone Poole, and it's against Tyrone Poole.
Former Carolina Panther knows a little bit about Favre. He's had matchups in the past.
Pass interference, number 38, defense. That's a first down.
And that's a 33-yard penalty.
And we'll take a look at this. And on the outside, obviously, here's Driver, here's Poole. Watch the hands of Tyrone Poole. At that point, he's fine. As soon as you go by there, the grab right there, that's it. That's where the infraction occurs. He doesn't take his hands off him. And that's a good call by the officiating.
On first down, trying to pick his way up the middle, Damon Parker. And no room to work with. About a gain of 2. Now, the reason that Driver continues to see action is the injury to Corey Bradford, out with a leg injury. And Bradford has seen sporadic duty so far this season, was injured during the preseason, so Green Bay has been forced to mix and match. Hey, Packers have dealt with a lot of injuries, but Mike Sherman yesterday told us, no excuses. We're better than what our record is. We should be better than 4-6.
And I love that as an ex-player, hearing that out of a head coach. Don't use excuses. Don't use injuries as an excuse that, hey, we lost because of injuries. Forget that. You've got backups. That's why they're being paid.
Off play action, Favre. Deep ball thrown again into triple coverage and incomplete. Bill Schrader was there. And the clock stops with 6:03 to play in the first half. It'll be 3rd and 8.
And you talk about confidence in your receivers. This is confidence. Thrown into triple coverage right here to Schrader. Bill Schrader almost comes down with it, but that's Brett Favre having confidence in his receiver, and he's trying to force it. Here, use the body English. Turn, twist, get it in there, catch it. It's in your hands. Oh.
Bill Schrader has been the go-to guy so far. 5 catches, 81 yards. Antonio Freeman has been shut out. Favre with receptions to 5 different receivers so far, but no Freeman. And now a 3rd and 8. Three receivers set. Line of scrimmage to the 49. Here's Favre. Flushed out. Favre throwing on the run. And complete to Driver. Sliding grab at the 28-yard line. Chad Bratsky provided the heat on Brett Favre, forcing him to the outside. 24 yards through the air.
This is a pretty route by Donald Driver. Just goes in, curls back to the outside. There's the ball, there's the catch. But Brett Favre, I still think he's the best when he's under duress. When he's getting pressure and he's being forced out of the pocket, even with the injured foot, as long as he's going to his right, he's been very efficient.
And now the Packers have it at the Indy 28. Amon Green by himself in the backfield. Packers scored a touchdown when the drive started from the 13-yard line last possession. This drive starts from the 13 again. And Green gets the call for a gain of 4 straight ahead. Jason Belzer with the tackle. Clock continues to roll, coming up on 5 minutes to play first half.
Now, Amon Green showed me something on that play. One-on-one with a big defender, lowered his shoulder, and he gave him the punishment. He didn't absorb it. And that's what really shows me something about a smaller back that really making his name now with the Green Bay Packers. And, he's on his way to becoming the first Packer 100-yard rusher of the season.
11 carries, 91 yards. And now a 2nd and 6. Favre checks off the line of scrimmage. Handoff. Green keeps the legs moving as he takes it just shy of the 15-yard line. Marco Rivera, the 5th-year pro out of Penn State, with a beautiful block up front and a gain of 7. First down, Green Bay.
And another thing, that the improvement of Amon Green, we saw him in Seattle before. He wasn't the type of rusher that would try to run over someone, try to use his speed and run away from it. Now he's playing smart.
He's comfortable in this offense. He grew up a big San Francisco 49er fan, so he was familiar with the West Coast offense and the role of Roger Craig.
He said he could almost recite Roger Craig's stats. He knew 1,000-yard rushing, 1,000-yard receiving, Tom Rathman, big guy in the middle that would make the blocks for the running back Roger Craig. And, here's a guy that, just smart, watching football on television, picking things up himself.
On first down, Favre makes the connection to Freeman, turns it upfield, and spins his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Green Bay. Back-to-back long drives for the Packers. And the Indy hole was getting deeper and deeper. Green Bay an extra point away from a 19-0 lead.
Nine, you said it before. Thus far, Antonio Freeman's been shut out. But it was just a matter of time that he worked the interior of the field. And this is an area that he loves. He likes the dirty work. He likes to push people around and create seams and find an opening and get the ball and run over somebody, and that's exactly what he did on the touchdown.
Ryan Longwell boots it through, and that's the exact type of route that Antonio Freeman was telling us about yesterday that he will thrive in.
And if your quarterback's this clean and can stay in the pocket and stand tall, and you can wait out the route, and this wasn't his first primary receiver. Antonio Freeman was his third look-off on this play, but he cleans it out underneath, the underneath drag. He's wide open. Brett Favre pumps it, looks deep. Okay, I've got my guy going across, dump it off to Antonio Freeman. Now it's just Freeman getting in the end zone, makes a plant, falls into the end zone. And Brett Favre, this is fun. He loves this stuff. Hurt, it doesn't matter. Hey, I'm hurt, I'm gipping around out here, but yeah, touchdown. That's what you love to see. Guys out there having fun, playing in the elements, cold. He's trying to run on that foot, but doesn't look smooth. He's not going to win a 100-yard dash, but that's exciting. That's what it's about.
Well, one thing Antonio Freeman mentioned to us, this team has not been able to knock out the opposition throughout the season. They've played in a lot of close games this year. In fact, 8 of their 10 games this season, Green Bay has had the ball late in the game with a chance to tie or take the lead. They are 3-5 in those 8 games. Normally, Favre and the Packers are better in those situations.
They've got to become better finishers. And another key, they go.
Wilkins. And he tiptoes his way out to the 27-yard line. Mike Morton with a stop on special teams, an 18-yard return. The Indianapolis Colts, an important game for them. 1 game behind Miami in the AFC East. Again, the AFC East, the most competitive division in the National Football League. 19-0, Packers lead it. Under 4 minutes to play, second quarter. Manning, quick throw, knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Steve Warren, the nose tackle.
I mentioned it before. If the defensive linemen, they're very well coached in his defense. If you can't get to Peyton Manning, which many teams can't, put your hands up. When it looks like he's going to throw, put those hands up to try to knock the ball down. Steve Warren does that. And Peyton Manning sacked only 10 times this year. They realize they're not going to get to him, so put the hands up to try to knock the balls down.
No huddle offense again. Waverly Jackson has stepped in at right tackle for Adam Meadows. Handed off. Edgerrin James has been quiet. Has a lane, and James crosses the 40-yard line. A good gainer on second down. 16 yards off the acceleration. And Ken Dilger, the tight end, with a little extra block up front.
And I'll tell you what, on the outside, that's a phenomenal job of Tarek Lane getting his block and holding on to it, sealing the inside off on theory. And the tight end, Ken Dilger, going out head-to-head on a linebacker and keeping and sustaining this block, allowing Edgerrin James to get through the crease.
Quick to the line of scrimmage once again for Manning. Now checking off an audible at the line of scrimmage. Manning will drift back. Make sure that James knows the play. Has plenty of time on the play clock. Handed off, Edgerrin James. And James again finds a crease as he makes his way into Green Bay territory, crossing midfield for a gain of 9. Antoine Edwards cut him down low to make the stop.
And Edgerrin James, he's just slithery. It's like a powerful eel. The first guy's not going to tackle him. He's going to find a way to shed that first tackler and get to the next level.
8 carries, 49 yards for the powerful eel. Never seen a powerful eel, so I have no frame of reference. I'm just going to take your word for it.
Oh, they're out there.
Second and 1. Handoff, James again, and pulls his way forward for a first down. Indianapolis will move the chains. Nate Wayne with a stop. And a 2-yard gain. 2:22 and counting left in the first half. James, when he goes over 100 yards, Colts have been very successful, and why not? Usually means they've established the run. Colts are 14-1 when he goes over that 100-yard plateau in his career. 5-0 here in the 2000 season. Now a first and 10 at the 45. Manning wants to throw it. Pump fake, and he's sacked. John Theory. 4.5 sacks on the season for Theory, the former Brown and the former Bear. And a loss of 3, and we hit the 2-minute warning. 19-0, Green Bay leading the Colts at Lambeau. Indianapolis Colts have been very successful on the road of late. They've won 9 of their last 13 away from the RCA Dome. But right now, they're trailing 19-0 and facing a 2nd and 13. Pump fake. Manning, sideline route. Catch made. Was he in bounds? No. And where has Marvin Harrison been today? That's the first time I've called his name on the offensive end.
And not only today, the last 2 games, only 10 receptions, 76 yards and a TD after starting off the season, lighting the league on fire. And, here's one of those passes. If he controls his body weight a little bit more and watches where his feet are. He should be in bounds, but he isn't.
Harrison out of bounds, over 100 yards receiving in 7 of 10 games this year, but at one point it was 7 of 8. The last two that you mentioned, well under 100.
And teams could not stop him. They couldn't stop the Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison connection, but the last few weeks they figured out a way. They get physical with Marvin Harrison at the line.
On a 3rd and 13, are they going to take a look at this? A review situation with under 2 minutes left, not a coach's review. They'll take a look upstairs. An official review just to make sure Marvin Harrison didn't get both feet in bounds. Green Bay 19, Indianapolis nothing, 1:54 left. First half.
We'll take another look at it. Keep an eye on his feet. Right, that's so close to tell from this angle. If his foot's touching the line, incomplete.
May have been airborne as he brought the football in. That's tough. You know, at that angle right there, he looks in bounds.
Now it's a left foot. Did he have possession at that point?
That's the question.
And we're both feet in bounds.
Might be inconclusive, which would mean that it'll go down as an incompletion. And Tom White taking a look at it. Actually, a chance to warm himself up underneath there.
I think he was happy with that. We get a couple more of those in the second half. He's probably telling upstairs, now if it gets inside 2 minutes, you have the power to bring me over and warm me up.
We are in a review situation with 1:54 left, second quarter. Marvin Harrison with a catch on the sideline, and the question whether or not he had his feet in bounds and had possession simultaneously.
And it's his left foot. He plants it right there. If it's on the line, does he have possession now? Or is that foot in bounds? This one right here. Not this one, this one.
Looks like a catch to me.
Yeah, and this is the one. This is the look that you need to see right here. Look at his left foot. Now right there, he can see exactly where that foot is. If that foot's touching the line, not a catch.
It would be a 3rd and 1. That was a gain of 9. If it's incomplete, it's 3rd and 13. And the line of scrimmage is the Green Bay 48. So the play under review. Colts lead the all-time series with a record of 19-18-1. And a wild game a few years ago, 1998, or I should say 97, November. Colts were 0-10. The Packers were 8-2. And Indianapolis pulled off the upset of the season, defeating the Green Bay Packers in a shootout. I believe it was 41-38, if I remember correctly, at the RCA Dome. Well, Tom White has seen enough looks at it.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. This is an incomplete pass.
Well,
nicely done, incomplete.
Goes down as incomplete. And Marvin Harrison.
And you have to wonder what he's thinking, what's in his mind. You know, here's the guy that no one could stop him at the beginning of the season. Last couple of weeks, he just can't generate any offense for the Colts.
Well, now a 3rd and 13 after the review. Manning again, barking out instructions to his offensive linemen and his fellow skill position players. Out of the shotgun. On a 3rd down. Manning forced out of the pocket. Manning throwing. Up high and kicked off. Todd McBride. McBride getting the start for the injured Mike McKenzie. And McBride has his first interception of the season. David Bowens applied the pressure in the backfield. And the Colts turned it over for the second time today.
And for Peyton Manning, he's directing the signals in his protection up front, so everyone knows who they're supposed to block, but it's just a great rush by Bowens on the outside, one-on-one over Waverly Jackson. He just beats him to the outside and puts pressure on Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning gets dumped at the end of the play. He's running for his life, trying to create something, and it's just pressure on Peyton Manning. He can't put the ball where he wants to, but a nice defensive play by Todd McBride. Breaking on the ball, turning right there, putting himself between the ball and the wide receiver and making a play.
And the way Green Bay has been moving the football of late, with a 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line, 1:46 left, and 3 timeouts remaining. 19-0 may not be the score as we hit halftime. On the draw play, I'm on Green. Trying to cut it to the outside and then double team there by Mike Peterson and Tyrone Poole. Ahman Green, 13 carries, 104 yards, and the first time this season a Packer running back has gone over 100 yards.
We're not at halftime. That's amazing. The offensive line is doing an incredible job up front of creating seams for Ahman Green.
Favre on the flip for Franks. First down, Green Bay at the 49-yard line. Mike Peterson with the tackle and a timeout taken. Clock stops, a minute 15 to play in the second quarter. Green Bay with a 19-0 lead and a chance to add to it. Brett Favre with a minute 15 showing on the clock here in the second quarter. So many concerns about the injuries. We've seen very little signs of it today. Halftime report coming up, NASDAQ.com. Jim, Mike, Randy will have all the scores and highlights and the latest NFL news coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. First and 10 now from the Green Bay 49. Ahman Green runs into a crowd and he picks up one, maybe a yard and a half. Mark Thomas wraps him up as he hits midfield. How about Favre today, Mark, the way that he's handled this Indianapolis defense?
He's been a master, and he's in total control of this defense. He's dictating to the Indianapolis defense. That's exactly where a quarterback wants to be.
Good throw to Schrader, and Bill Schrader trying to break free. Brought down from behind inside the 20, and Schrader calls a timeout. Chad Bradsky was forced to chase him down.
Now, this is a smart play by Bill Schrader. All it is a slant. He's going across, catches the ball, now makes something happen. There he stumbles, but he makes a great move, and he picks up additional yardage. But right here, he's smart. Timeout, timeout, timeout. That's a smart play by Bill Schrader.
How about a defensive end saving a touchdown?
That's just hustle by Chad Bradsky on the play. You know, he's trying to make something happen, but he's drawn off on the line. He's not on the line of scrimmage. He's down the field to play, but that's big-time hustle by Chad Bradsky, trying to make something happen defensively.
6 catches, 113 yards for Schrader. Bradsky and the Colts defense virtually invisible in this first half, the way that Favre has been able to toy with them at times. And Green Bay will have one timeout remaining.
And here's Bradsky right here. There he is. As soon as the ball snapped, he's running down the field to play. He's going into the zone drop. And his zone blitz defense, you get defensive ends dropping. He's dropping on the play. But that's incredible hustle. That's a big man, 275 pounds, running downfield, tackling a speedster. That's nothing but hustle on Chad Bradsky's part.
48 seconds remaining, first half. First and 10 at the Indy 18. Freeman in motion. Favre wants to put it in the air. Sidearm delivery, and the catch made by Green. Cornelius Bennett with a stop, and Brett Favre again had too much time to work with if you're the Indianapolis defense.
And if the Colts are going to play soft in the prefense and only rush 3, Brett Favre will find a way to get rid of the ball and pick you apart.
On 2nd and 8, Favre steps up and throws underneath to Schrader. Loses the football, but the Packers able to jump on it. Ahman Green, they'll rule it incomplete.
It's incomplete, but look at that. 3 green jerseys. That's hustled down the field to play. These players are excited. They feel the killer instinct, and when the ball's on the ground, you see Lyman hustle down the field. Schrader turns right here. There's the ball. Looks like a catch. Looks like he had possession and turned on the ball. But look at the green jerseys. That's hustle. Those are linemen right there. 2 to 3 of those, that's linemen hustling, breaking on the ball.
Hey, Mark, there's also a sense of urgency with this team. Brett Favre told us that yesterday. At 4-6, they realize one more loss, and their playoff hopes may be over before we even hit December.
And you asked him, is there a sense of urgency? He said, there better be. We're 4-6. We've been in some close games, but right now this team better feel like that. You know, they want to get back to the Packers of old. In the middle of the 90s, the late 90s, they were the dominant team.
21 seconds left in the half. Favre on 3rd down to the end zone. Flag down. Schrader was in the area. And a flag thrown. Packers are pointing to the Indianapolis defense, and they're right.
Illegal contact, number 97. It's 5 yards. It's an automatic first down.
The old veteran Cornelius Bennett.
And Cornelius Bennett right there, obviously number 97. There's the push right there, and he's downfield, and you can't do that after 5 yards. And, you know, he's smarter than that, but he's trying to create something. He's one of the leaders on this football team. This is still a young football team on the offensive side of the ball, but on the defensive side of the ball, they're not that young. They've got some veteran leadership on that side of the ball.
Now, how many cracks can they get at this with 16 seconds remaining and a 1st and 10 at the 11? 3-receiver look. Favre stepped up and throws it away. Amon Green, the running back in the area, but Favre knew he was in some trouble, and now only 12 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Josh Williams among those Colts defenders applying some pressure. Packers still have the one timeout to work with. And now a 2nd and 10.
And in this play, what the Packers want, they want a quick play because they want to take a chance on that 3rd down play. But they want a real quick play right here. Hit a quick slant, quick fade, get rid of the ball in a hurry so you can only use maybe 4 seconds on the clock.
Clock management so important now for Mike Sherman and company. 12 seconds remaining. Green Bay with a 19-0 lead on 2nd down. Favre steps up, sidearm delivery. Amon Green accelerating to the goal line. Did he get in? Packers say touchdown, and time has run out. Time has run out unless they give Green Bay the timeout with 1 second remaining. Now they're motioning for the timeout. Packers players were worried about whether or not Green got into the end zone. And the officials will huddle up. Will they put a second on the clock? Colts are walking off the field.
Well, that's smart, because I can tell you, right now, the head coach of the Colts, Jim Moore, saying, get off the field, get off the field. Maybe we'll put pressure on them. They won't make this call because in his mind, it's over. He looks at the clock, 0-0-0, it's over.
On that second effort by Amon Green, just trying to extend his body.
The time expired before the end of the play, the timeout.
Well, clock management.
That's costly. Amon Green remained on his feet.
We're reviewing the ruling on the field.
And Tom White's saying they are going to review it. I don't know if he's getting these players back on the field now. Packers fans are beginning to cheer as the Colts player began to make their way down the tunnel area.
Now see, this is poor communication between upstairs and downstairs on the field with the officials. They need to know before they say it's over and wave the teams off the field where they go in the locker room. They should have better communication.
Hey, Mark, I have never seen a review to see whether or not a timeout was called.
We're getting very picky in the NFL. We're going to review to see if it's a touchdown, but that's very close on Amon Green because a lot of players stop and signal touchdown. But still, in that situation, be smart about it. Get that timeout call. Take another look at it, but Amon Green does a great job of determination of trying to get to the end zone. We're going to take another look at this. Brett Favre wants to throw it deep. There's nothing there. There's his outlet valve right there. Now either go down and call a timeout or make sure you get in the end zone. Here he's fighting to get to the end zone, and he's short.
No, he's short. He is short of the end zone, so the Packers have no points to show for this drive. And what would have been at least a 22-0 lead, if not a 26-0 lead, turns out to be 19-0. Another look at Amon Green. Tried that second effort, and he comes up short. Look at where the body is, and the ball wasn't much further up.
His helmet barely gets across the goal.
Packers are waiting to line up for what would be an extra point if they ruled it a touchdown. And I don't see how they can get a field goal attempt off here because time ran out on that play. No timeout was called. That's what Jim Mora and Tom Moore are waiting for before they make their way into the locker room. So Tom White getting another look at it. Just a bizarre way to end this second quarter. Green Bay thoroughly outplaying the Indianapolis Colts. And you wonder if those points that were lost will come back to haunt them later in this game because Indy does have the capability of coming from behind.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The runner's knee was down before he reached the goal line. That is the end of the first half, and there's no score.
Well, there is a score. There's just no score on that play. 19-0, Packers leading the Colts. End of the first half from Lambeau. Coming up, Jim Nantz in the studio for the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Hope you'll stay tuned for that after this message and a word from your local station. Halftime in Green Bay, the Packers leading the Colts 19-0. Welcome back to Lambeau, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Mark May. Frigid conditions, but Green Bay has seen colder days than this. Indianapolis might be a different story, and we were curious how the elements might affect Peyton Manning in this offense early on. Well, we've seen it. No points first half.
Yeah, right off the bat, the first play of the game, Peyton Manning fumbles an attempted pass play. You know, I thought his hands were cold at that point because it's cold down on the field, but when you look at this, it's all offense. Brett Favre, magnificent. He set the precedent. First play of the game, mindset, I'm going to be able to scramble to my right.
Now, we might see Matt Hasselbeck later in this game. The speculation was if Favre couldn't go, Hasselbeck would get his opportunity. Hasselbeck might get his opportunity because Green Bay has built such a huge lead, and why risk even further injury to Favre?
Well, I think if they have a three-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter, midway through, we'll see Matt Hasselbeck. But here's the key, Amon Green. Career game. In the first half, 105 yards rushing, averaging 7.5 yards a carry in the first half. It's amazing what they're able to do up front. The offensive line, tight ends, everybody included in the running package is taking the pressure off of Brett Favre.
What does Indianapolis have to do now, second half action? We have not seen their A offense so far.
They've got to go back to their no-huddle offense, and they've got to execute. And I think when Peyton Manning comes to the line of scrimmage, don't call the audibles. Just get up there, call the play, and go.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of that from Peyton Manning so far today. Checking off the line of scrimmage, instructing the offensive linemen and receivers what the play is going to be.
And sometimes when that happens, Zion, it takes you out of the rhythm that you have offensively, particularly in a no-huddle. You want to get up there, call the play, get going. If something changes and they show blitz, yeah, change the play. But don't start directionally calling out formations, blocking schemes. Just get up there and go and get in the rhythm.
You know, interesting, Peyton Manning told us that the Chicago game wasn't quite a wake-up call, but he thought it was something that they could learn from. Well, they're facing a similar situation today. 20-0, they were trailing at halftime against Chicago. Manning throws an interception. Walt Harris takes it back the distance to extend the lead to 27-0 early in the third. Right now, his team is down 19-0, and they will have the football to start play in the second half. Here's Pathan from the 9. After the Longwell kick, Pathan emerging through a hole and then spun down to the grass at the 33-yard line by Antoine Edwards. 25-yard return. And the halftime stats, that big 0 for the Colts in the first half of action. And look at the total yardage. Indianapolis, number 2 offense in the NFL behind St. Louis, could manage only 77 yards of offense in the first half.
And that's key with an Edgerrin James. They started passing right off the bat. And I still felt they should have set the tempo, giving the ball to Edgerrin James. Once the defense of the Green Bay Packers stopped them, then go to the play-action pass.
You saw 1 turnover. You're probably thinking 2. They do not count the safety as a turnover. So the Manning interception went down as the only turnover of the game. Edgerrin James, 2-yard gain as Theory and Billy Lyon, who we have seen a lot of on this defensive line for Green Bay, were in on the stop. And it'll be 2nd and 8. Just underway, third quarter. Here from Lambeau Field, Green Bay Packers at 4-6, just trying to remain in the hunt for a playoff berth under first-year head coach Mike Sherman. Meanwhile, the Indianapolis Colts are in a tight battle in the AFC East with Miami and the Jets and Buffalo on the periphery. Colts come out, 4 receiver set, Dilger in motion, now sets up in the backfield. On 2nd and 8. Here's Manning, a deep drop and a deep throw. Wide open, catch made by Harrison. And he's into Packer territory, down at the 46. 19-yard hookup, Manning to Harrison. And that is his first catch of the day.
And for Marvin Harrison, he wants to find the soft part of the defense. Get behind the linebackers. Here are the linebackers in the middle. Try to find a seam. Get in front of the defensive backs. And just sit and try to find a little hole. There he is, right in the middle. He gets between both of them. Finds the hole. Peyton Manning delivers the ball. First down.
And Peyton Manning has just gone over 3,000 yards passing. The first NFL player to do it in his first 3 seasons in the National Football League. Handoff, Edgerrin James straight ahead. Russell Maryland there to greet him. And a gain of 4. Cletius Hunt also in on the stop.
And this week when I spoke to Ed Donatel, the defensive coordinator, he told me Russell Maryland really added stability to this defensive line. Here's a guy that's been to Pro Bowls, been to Super Bowls in his past, just a solid individual. And he said he's a Monday through Sunday worker. And he's been a great leader by example for this football team.
Took over for Gilbert Brown, who just got too big, flat out.
I think he was too big when he started.
Well, he got even bigger. Dilger in motion on a 2nd and 6. Manning, long count. Wants to throw it. Pump fake and throw over the middle. E.G. Green. And Green is met as he crosses the 35-yard line, but it is enough for a first down. 10 yards. Bernardo Harris with the tackle. Clock continues to move down to 12.5 remaining. Third quarter. Green Bay with a 19-0 lead.
And A.G. Green, just a cross route, just slant right across the middle, clear it out, find a way to get him the ball. And this is what you want to do with your receivers. A.G. Green's really stepped up. Here's a player they thought in his first year showed some promise. Second year, he'd be the guy, but Terrence Wilkins really beat him out, and now he's beating Terrence Wilkins out.
Third year out of Florida State. Manning in trouble. Manning is sacked. Santana Dotson dragging him down to the ground. And he got no help from Larry Moore, a ricochet effect on that sack.
And Santana Dotson leads the Green Bay Packers at 4.5, now 5.5 sacks. And here he is one-on-one, right on the line of scrimmage. And Larry Moore just grabs him in the chest, throws him to the side, get to the quarterback, make something happen. He's been hampered by injury, an ankle injury, comes back. That's a big play. It slows down the offense of the Indianapolis Colts and disrupts the offense.
5.5 sacks now for Dotson, who has been nursing an ankle injury. Third Green Bay sack of the day on the draw play. Edgerrin James. And James can't quite get it to the outside. Antoine Edwards saved a chunk of yardage. It still goes down as a gain of 6, but it could have been 10 or 15 if James broke through that tackle.
One thing this defense is doing, they've done a great job of containing Edgerrin James. They didn't want to give up the big play. Darren Sharper said, hey, we want to slow him down, but they haven't come up with a fumble. They haven't stripped him of the ball. But they said, we want to hold him up, first tackler, and the next guy's going to come and try to strip the ball from him.
And James has pretty good numbers, 12 carries for 62 yards, but no catches coming out of the backfield, and no one run that stands out that was a difference maker in that first half. Here's a 3rd and 15 from the 38. Manning steps up, throws, and caught by James. James bouncing to the 25-yard line. That's short of a first down. He needed 15. He got 13. It'll be 4th and 2. And the Colts still looking for their first points. Santana Dotson in on the tackle with James.
Man, there's no question they've got to go for this in this situation. They need points, and 3 points at this point isn't really going to help this team. They need a momentum mover. 1, to get a first down, and 2, to put some points on the board. And for Peyton Manning, this is a no-brainer.
On 4th down this season, 5 of 6. 4th and 2. Colts getting shut out here in the early stages, 3rd quarter. And a big play. Manning, long count. Manning rolling out, throwing on the run. Catch made by Dilger, and a first down for Indianapolis as Dilger gets it out to the 15. That's good for 10 yards. And more importantly, a new set of downs for the Colts to work with.
Well, this is a mismatch I talked about earlier. They want to get Dilger involved. Here he is right here, but he's going to go to the side with Harrison right there. They run into each other. They pick each other, but what it does, it confuses the defense of the Green Bay Packers and allows them to get separation. Peyton Manning sees the open receiver and Ken Dilger. He makes something happen after the catch, picking up positive yardage.
Long drive to start play here in the 3rd. Manning now with a 1st and 10 at the Green Bay 15. Handoff, James. Like a locomotive that runs into a wall. A gain of 2. Clydius Hunt, second-year pro out of Kentucky State, making that stop.
And the middle triangle for Green Bay is doing a great job in the middle. Here you're going to see, this is what Edgerrin James sees when he gets the ball. He wants to see a crease to hit. He sees a little hole right there, and all of a sudden, they just collapse on it. Clydius Hunt, Russell Maryland, right in the middle, they close the hole off.
Manning struggled in the first half, 4 of 12. He is 4 of 4 throwing the football on this drive. In a passing situation on 2nd and 8, Manning, moving pocket, throwing on the run, and too low for Jerome Pathan. It hit the ground and took a bounce. And now the Colts with a 3rd and 8, and frustration mounting for Peyton Manning.
On the outside, Jerome Pathan with his route goes down. As soon as he gets to the goal line, plant and go in. Find a hole, get open. He is open, but the ball's thrown behind him and he slips. Now here's the situation. If he doesn't slip when he comes back for the ball, Peyton's saying to keep going across. Don't slow down. He's telling his receivers, directing them to go. And this is what the receiver and the quarterback have to be on the same page.
Manning is the only quarterback in the NFL this season to have at least 1 touchdown pass in every game. That streak in jeopardy. Here's Manning on 3rd down. Manning is sacked at the 19. Santana Dotson again.
All right, and now Santana Dotson has 6.5 sacks. Here it is, just one-on-one. He's over Larry Moore again, and he just bulls him and throws him to the side and just fights to get to the quarterback. There he is, outside soft shoulder, but a great rush. And what he does is once he gets to the outside shoulder of Larry Moore, he collapses the pocket around Peyton Manning, and the rest of the defensive line, they collapse the pocket also.
Mike Vanderjagt, who has been the most consistent kicker this season in the NFL, 15 straight field goals over the last 8 games he's played in. 38-yard attempt. Colts looking for their first points, and they've got them. Vanderjagt nudges it through. It's 19-3 Packers in the third. We've done some research. That is actual hair. You would think it's a wig, but those are true Packer fans. That is an actual hat. And Mark May is looking to buy one at the airport, I believe, for your young daughter, correct?
She wanted me to wear that today, but I decided not to.
Oh, so you went with that look
I
instead.
went with the other look, yes.
I like that look.
Approach.
I think it's catching on. On the kickoff, Danny Kite, another short one. He's a kickoff specialist. He hasn't been anywhere close to the end zone. Ryan Wetnight able to jump on the football. Packers will have it. First possession of the second half for them when we return. Green Bay Packers an uncharacteristic 5-5 in their last 10 games here at Lambeau Field, but they lead the Colts 19-3. Again, they tried that trick play. This time Indianapolis was all over it. Amon Green moving forward for a gain of 4. Dwight Hollier with the stop. Get live updates for each NFL game. As it happens, just click on live scores at cbs.sportsline.com. Down to 7:50 remaining in the third quarter. And a 2nd and 6 upcoming. You see Josh Williams, some blood on the pants.
Gotta like that. That's real football.
Do you like playing here?
Oh, you betcha. I love playing here. These old stadiums, particularly Lambeau, what a great environment. You know, we're losing that mystique about some stadiums across the NFL, but fortunately enough, they're keeping it here.
Off the play action, bootleg, and the connection made to the fullback William Henderson. That's a gain of 4. Bernard Holsey with a hit on Favre, and Holsey might pick up the penalty.
Personal foul against Bernard Holsey.
So he avoided one earlier on a potential late hit. And now Tom White getting the flag back in the pants.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Pushes the quarterback to the ground. 15 yards. First down.
You just got to play smart. In that situation, you know the league protects the quarterback. If you're even close, if it's questionable, you pull off. The play's over. You don't do that. That's a good call protecting the quarterback, but at the end of the play, the ball's thrown. You know you're not going to sack him. It's over.
It would have been a 3rd and short. Instead, it's a 1st and 10 now at the 48-yard line. Bernard Holsey, the former Giant, was primarily a backup with the Big Blue, but has emerged as a starter at defensive end for this Indianapolis defense. Play fake. Favre throwing the home run ball, and Bill Schrader was stride for stride along with Jeff Burris. Incomplete. As we get through the month of November. 2nd and 10. Play action. Favre releasing out of the backfield, Amon Green, and brought down at the 45-yard line. That's a pickup of 7. Jeff Burris with the stop. Well, tell me about a particular game you played here with the Washington Redskins.
Well, I played here in November 1986. And it was cold. It was freezing cold. Wind chill factor down around 0. And Russ Grimm, one of our offensive linemen, said, hey, let's show those guys we're mentally tough. We're going to go out there without long sleeves on, and we're going to show them like the offensive line of the Packers. But we found out that it was kind of stupid at the time. And at halftime, I was the first one in the locker room putting on long sleeves and getting back out on the field because it was cold. You set a mental precedent out there. And the offensive line of the Packers, no sleeves. This cold doesn't bother those guys. It bothered me. It bothers a lot of people psychologically. In the fourth quarter, he said, hey, those guys aren't cold, but I am.
At least you're honest about it. Amon Green on the draw play, and a first down for the Packers, a gain of 7. Chad Bratsky had a chance to bring him down, but Green able to break free. In addition, would you put some Vaseline on your arms as well?
Well, we're going to get cute. We put Vaseline on our arms because we're going to go out there and it was going to cut the wind. And the officials found out because the defensive players were complaining about it. So we had to wipe it off. So to no avail, we froze. And I'll tell you another story. We had a kicker, Max Zendejas. We had to use a crowbar to get him out of the locker room. He did not want to come out on this field because it was so cold.
Yeah, but do you want to give up your secret of how you keep your feet warm? We'll talk about that in a moment. I'm sure you're just chomping at the bit to get that one out on national TV. Favre throwing. It was high. He was looking for Freeman, and a flag down. Tony Blevins in a matchup, and Blevins incredulous that a penalty marker came down. Defensive penalties piling up for this Indianapolis team. Freeman is waiting. Freeman had a flag against him last week, an unsportsmanlike penalty. He was fined $10,000 for knocking the football out of a referee's hands, a fine that he told us he will appeal. Tom White trying to sort things out. And they will say no penalty, I believe.
There is no pass interference on the play. It's an incomplete pass. Second down.
And I think that's a good call, because what happens on the route, Antonio Freeman stops. Tony Blevins plays the ball. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what your coach do. Right here at the end of the route, watch it. He's going to stop, but Blevins is playing the ball. That's his job.
So the Packers will now have a 2nd and 10. Line of scrimmage is the 38. And Green Bay leading it 19-3. Indianapolis defense has to make a stand here. We have already hit the 5:27 mark of the 3rd quarter. 1 possession for the Colts, 1 possession for the Packers so far in this 2nd half. Favre, guns, and complete. Schrader turning it inside, and a huge gainer. Brought down at the 16-yard line. They just picked up 21 yards.
And one thing the wide receivers of Green Bay have been able to do to the Indianapolis Colts secondary is take their aggressiveness away. Here he's going to sit. There's no coverage. They're in their zones, but he finds a soft spot, catches the ball, then he makes something happen after the catch, and they're always leaning forward on Green Bay. You like the way this offense, they haven't shut it down. They're still aggressive offensively.
Cornelius Bennett was in no man's land, and Bill Schrader took advantage. 7 catches, 134 yards for the 5th-year player out of Wisconsin La Crosse, a native of Sheboygan, Wisconsin. On a 1st down, handed off. Amon Green. And he is trampled down after a gain, maybe a yard. They'll see how they spot the football. Probably no gain on the play. Hollier and Chad Cota combining to make that stop. Jim Mora. He told us, not concerned about the weather, concerned more about Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers. Now, the weather may have played a role early on, but this Indianapolis offense is not the one that fans around the league, and especially in Indy, have become accustomed to watching week in and week out the last 2 seasons. On a pitch back, Green looking to throw it to the end zone. Incomplete. Bill Schrader back of the end zone, and Amon Green. He took a hit from Bradsky.
Now, and you look at this play, Chad Bradsky does an outstanding job on the outside of reading the play. He's going to stay with Amon Green. He reads it. He knows it's a pass because he's got him contained right here. And Amon Green tries to make a play. Here you're taught to throw the ball away. A smart play is just to throw it out of the end zone. It's over. Throw it away. It's not there. But Amon Green's taking his chance. He wants that touchdown pass. But Chad Bradsky does a wonderful job of putting pressure on him just before the throw.
I'll tell you right now, I did not know he was a lefty. That's not something you usually research, whether a running back is a righty or a lefty. And maybe it caught Indianapolis off guard as well. On a 3rd and 10. Favre, pump fake, across the middle. Catch made by Freeman, and he is met at the 10-yard line. That'll be shy of a 1st down, gain of 8. Mike Peterson with the stick along with Cornelius Bennett, and Freeman able to bounce up after that collision. Green Bay will send the field goal unit onto the field and try to reestablish their 19-point lead.
And for the defense of the Indianapolis Colts, Vic Fangio, their defensive coordinator, that was a gimme play. They're going to let them catch anything in front of them, the Packers wide receiver. Just make sure you make the tackle short of the 1st down.
Ryan Longwell, 28-yard field goal attempt, had a career-high 52 last week, and this one is no good. Longwell, uncharacteristic, and he missed it to the left. There was some pressure being applied by Bernard Holsey. Whether or not that was a hindrance, it's irrelevant now. 19-3, Green Bay leading Indianapolis, but it could be a bigger lead. Green Bay comes up empty, waning moments of the 2nd quarter. No field goal, no touchdown. Now a long drive, and they have nothing to show for that either. Manning off play action, and E.G. Green on a post pattern. Catch made, Tyrone Williams with a stop, and that's a gain of 10. And they'll move the chains. Clock continues to roll as we hit 3 minutes remaining now in the third. 1st and 10 from the 30. Handed off. Edgerrin James tripped up as he crossed the line of scrimmage, and a gain of 1. Steve Warren in on that stop.
And defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, Ed Donatello, has done a great job of mixing and matching his defensive linemen, keeping them fresh, making sure that they're penetrators at the end of the game to stop the rush. But right now, they don't want to give up anything cheap. Whatever Indianapolis gets, they want to make sure they earn it.
We mentioned Waverly Jackson was in at right tackle. We've been given word Adam Meadows, a twisted knee. His return is questionable. 2nd and 9. Manning in the pocket, setting it up to the sideline. Great attempt, but Green could not haul it in. Tyrone Williams with the coverage.
I think Tyrone Williams gets lucky on this play. You can't stand and run stride for stride with the receiver and let him catch the ball. When that ball's out there, you've got to stick your hand in there, and that's what he does. And that is a nice job at the end of the play. Watch his right hand. Just as the ball's there, he slips it in there and pries the ball out. That is a heck of a job.
It sets up 3rd and 9. Williams at the very end able to jar that ball loose. And now Indianapolis forced to convert on a 3rd down. Just over 2 minutes left, 3rd quarter. Shotgun for Manning. Throwing. A bullet. Incomplete. Jerome Pathan, the intended target. And the Packers defense beginning to celebrate another defensive stand.
I'll tell you what, Ian, Nate Wayne is having one heck of a ball game. He is all over the place, the linebacker, and here he breaks on the ball. You saw him at the bottom of the screen coming across, and that was just enough to distract the wide receiver, Jerome Pathan. Here it is right there, gets his hand on it, but he's been all over the place, making plays all over the field.
Hunter Smith on to punt the football. Allen Rossum is waiting at his own 29-yard line. Packers with a 19-3 cushion and a flag down. Play clock was at 6. Maybe a false start.
False start. Number 47, offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Billy Austin called on the false start on special teams. Back it up.
And some of the penalties the Indianapolis Colts have got today, you have to scratch your head, and I'm sure Jim Moore is, because this is a pretty smart football team. They're not a heavily penalized football team, but today they've made a lot of mistakes that you have to scratch your head.
Kevin Spencer, the special teams coach, watching from the sidelines, and Smith with a good punt. Rossum, and a fair catches it at the 23. 51-yard punt. Green Bay defense came to play today. They're in front 19-3. (19-3), Green Bay leading Indianapolis. 2:04 left in the 3rd quarter. Tough conditions today at Lambeau Field, and Peyton Manning has had his problems. Green Bay takes over on a 1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line. Base offense, play action. Favre to the sideline, and Antonio Freeman accelerating past the 1st down marker, and a gain of 12. Cota and Burris collaborating to make that stop on Freeman, who has picked up some steam after a slow start here today.
The wide receivers for the Green Bay Packers are just having their way with a defensive group of the Indianapolis Colts. 8 different receivers have caught passes today, and they're giving their receivers respect. At this point of the game, you've got to take a chance. You've got to gamble and come up and force and make a break on the ball to try to make a defensive play.
And a 1st down out to the 35-yard line. Here's Favre under pressure right from the start and dragged down by Ellis Johnson. Johnson returning from a knee injury. He missed 3 weeks of action, and he comes up with his 4th sack of the season.
And Ellis Johnson right here, he's going to go straight ahead, and they're sliding the line of scrimmage to center Frank Winters and Ross Burba, but Ross Burba turns his shoulders too fast and creates a seam for Ellis Johnson to hit, where the center cannot recover to get in front of him to slow him down. Here, right guard Burba, he's looking to the outside. He's not even looking. If you're going to post that right hand, you post it in the defender's chest to slow him down.
And a loss of 8 on the play. How about the fact that this Green Bay offensive line is playing with 2 rookie tackles? A guy like Ellis Johnson, even though he's factored on the inside, would be licking his chops to go against 2 first-year pros. That is rare. We'll talk about that in a moment. Handoff. I'm on Green. Flag down as Green crosses the 35, and some action in the backfield. Mark Thomas on the stop. That's a gain of 9 for Green, who is having a career day running the football. 17 carries, 116 yards. This one is coming back. Under a minute now to play in the third quarter. And here's Tom White.
Holding. Number 78. Offense. It's a 10-yard penalty. Remains second down.
And Ross Verba has his hands full with Ellis Johnson. Ellis Johnson came to play today. He's got to pick it up a notch. We talked about this offensive line, 2 rookie tackles. When we talked with head coach Mike Sherman, he said, well, going into the season, I really don't want to have 2 rookie tackles with Brett Favre at quarterback, but they've held their own this season. They're not dominant, but they've done a great job.
Chad Clifton, Mark Tauscher. Clifton out of Tennessee, Tauscher out of University of Wisconsin. And now 2nd and 28. Favre steps up and throws to Henderson. He's wrapped up at the 25-yard line by Mike Peterson and Jason Belzer. Down to 20 seconds remaining now in the third, and no reason for Green Bay to get a playoff here at the end of the quarter. So the Packers now just looking to maintain. They have a 16-point advantage. That'll go down as the final play of the third, and we will head to the fourth. Green Bay leading Indianapolis 19-3. Packers looking to improve their record to 5-6. We'll return to Lambeau Field right after this word from your local station. Start of the fourth quarter here in Green Bay, and the Packers offense exceeding their season average numbers so far today, and we still have a quarter remaining. Ian Eagle, Mark May, our entire CBS crew. Packers 19, Colts 3 on a 3rd and 18. Flip to the outside, Amon Green, and he is spilled out at the 35-yard line by Belzer. A gain of 8, and the Packers will punt it here in the early fourth quarter.
And for the Indianapolis Colts, less than a quarter to go. They've got to find a spark. They've got to find a rhythm. They went with their no-huddle offense early in this game, and they just couldn't find that. And I think what Ed Donatell's done with his defense is he's created an atmosphere where they believe now that, 1, they're not going to give up the big play to Edgerrin James, and 2, they're not going to let Peyton Manning throw one of those 40 or 50-yard bombs.
Rob Davis will snap it. Josh Bidwell leans into this punt. Terrence Wilkins standing at the 28. It comes up well short, and the Packers down it at the 31-yard line. We'll step aside, come back with fourth quarter action, and Peyton Manning trying to rally his team in Green Bay. Ed Donatell, the defensive coordinator for the Packers, served under Greg Robinson with the Denver Broncos. He's taken that style and philosophy of defense and brought it here to Green Bay. Now he's asking the defense to stop the Indianapolis offense. On first down, swing pass to Edgerrin James, and Bernardo Harris with the tackle after a gain of 4. We are in the fourth quarter. Green Bay with a 19-3 lead over Indianapolis. Colts have a very tough schedule coming up. Hosting Miami next week, then visiting the Jets following that. On 2nd and 6, James slips down and comes up shy of the 35. A gain of 1. Leroy Butler touches him up, the 4-time Pro Bowler.
And that's part of the elements. And Edgerrin James isn't the only player we've seen slip for the Colts today. You haven't seen that many Green Bay Packers slip. They're able to plant. They have longer cleats on. They know when the tarp is on this field early and you have some wetness out there when it rains or snows, that it's got to be soft underneath the tarp. And I think they're better prepared for it with their equipment.
Colts have not been using the no huddle. Conventional offense now, shotgun formation. And a pivotal 3rd and 5. Manning steps up. Fires 1 to the outside. Good second effort by Edgerrin James. And a first down for Indianapolis, a gain of 6. Leroy Butler had a chance to bring him down initially, could not, and James turns it into a new set of downs.
Not only Leroy Butler, there were 3 people around him. Watch the 3 green jerseys. As soon as he catches the ball, you're going to see 3 green jerseys overrun the play. Edgerrin James plants and comes back and picks up the first down. 1, 2, 3, overrun the play, plant, turn it up, first down.
And the line of scrimmage is now the 41. 1st and 10 for the Colts. Deep drop, Manning steps up, under some pressure, knocked up in the air, and incomplete. Jerome Pathan, the intended receiver. Antoine Edwards had the coverage, and Pathan was a little bit slow to get up.
And both of them, the wide receiver, Jerome Pathan, he's slipping and sliding like I talked about. They don't have long enough cleats on him right here. He's got to take a shot at the end of the play. He almost gets decapitated by Antoine Edmonds. Edwards, but watch the play. He's going to slip. And this is about the 5th time Jerome Payton has slipped. You would think on the sidelines, you go to the equipment manager and say, hey, change my cleats, change my shoes. I'm not getting it done today.
Even with that slip, though, that's a catchable ball. On a 2nd and 10, E.G. Green, the motion man. Manning operating out of the shotgun. Had some happy feet in the pocket. Now finds James. Again, shedding tacklers. And finally brought down at the 47-yard line by Darren Sharper. That's a gain of 7. Sharper has been one of the pleasant surprises for this Green Bay defense this year. They've been waiting for him to develop, and this has been the breakout season.
And last year he was criticized. He missed a lot of tackles. He wasn't aggressive enough. So what happened? Head coach Mike Sherman took away his play calling responsibilities and just said, go out and play football. Well, he's having a Pro Bowl year this season.
Tied for the league lead with 6 interceptions. Now a 3rd and 3. Under 12 minutes remaining in the 4th. Handoff, James trying to beat out that initial wave of tacklers, and it appears he has enough. Let's see where they spot the football. Santana Dotson got him down low, and James just kept the legs moving. Had to get to the 49-yard line, and it is enough. First down, Indy. Clock, though, rolling. 11:25 and counting left in the 4th, and a 16-point Packer lead. Now the no huddle once again for Peyton Manning. James parallel with Manning out of the shotgun. Manning throws. Incomplete. E.G. Green.
I think Leroy Butler got a hand on that ball, just a finger.
Just grazed the football and maybe did enough to send E.G. Green into a state of confusion.
And that's all it takes. If you get a finger on the football, but still, if the ball's in your hand, I always say this. Art Monk taught me this when I was at the Washington Redskins. If that ball touches my hand, and it does get tipped by Leroy Butler, hey, you're supposed to catch it.
It's all about concentration, and especially at this stage of the game as the Colts are trying to stage a comeback. 11:07 now left in the 4th. 2nd and 10 from the 49. Green Bay backs off now. No blitz coming. Manning fires and complete. Jerome Payton trying to turn it inside and upfield for some extra yardage. And he is brought down right around the 34. That's a gain of 15. And a player slow to get up. Todd McBride, the cornerback who has stepped in for the injured Mike McKenzie. And McBride now kneeling down as the medical staff will come over and take a look. Allen Rossum would step in and play the other cornerback position if necessary. They only have 4 corners on this roster. Antoine Edwards could play the spot as well in a pinch. Timeout, 19-3 Green Bay. Cornerback Todd McBride was able to walk off the field, but Allen Rossum does step in on this play. And he's matched up with Marvin Harrison. On a 1st and 10 at the Green Bay 34. Play action. Good job of doing it. Manning throwing to the end zone. Caught by Green. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Tyrone Williams beat on the play. And Green able to get the separation necessary to get into the end zone. First touchdown of the year for Green, and Manning has kept the streak alive. He has thrown at least 1 touchdown in every game this year, the only QB to do it in the NFL.
It's a deep post pattern, but right here, he's expecting help in the middle. There's no one to help him in the middle. And in the middle of the field, the wide receiver, E.G. Green, is wide open. If you're playing one-on-one back there and you expect help on the inside, the safety's supposed to roll. He doesn't get that help.
Trailing 19-9, you would think the Colts would go for 2. Well, they kicked the extra point. It is now a 19-10 game. They were down by 16, and 2 touchdowns plus 2 two-point conversions would have tied this game. Jim Mora has some other plans now, trailing by 9. 10:35 to play here in the 4th. E.G. Green's first touchdown of the season, a 34-yard reception from Peyton Manning's toss. And Jim Mora must be hoping that his offense has now found a flow, trailing 19-10, elected to kick the extra point. Rossum, the return from the 15, looking for an angle. Rossum, can he turn the corner? Rossum. And out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Charles Lee chasing him down to the sideline. A 26-yard return by Rossum. Good field position for Green Bay. Packers football when we come back. Well, the Green Bay Packers know how to handle this track at Lambeau Field. Just cleaning off the spikes for the offense. Gets ready to take the field. And on first down, Ahman Green gets the call. A gain of 4 trying to run it off tackle to the right. Dwight Hollier with a stop. Well, Brett Favre, 10th NFL season, and has that childlike quality even as an adult. 5-time Pro Bowler, 136 straight starts as mentioned, the fourth quarter comebacks, the resume. It goes on and on for Brett Favre, one of the best ever to play the position. I don't think fair to say quarterback of the 90s. Some might argue John Elway, Marino. You know, Favre has the championship, and he's got the 3 MVPs as well. Josh Williams lying on his back for the Indianapolis Colts. Brad Scioli would step in and take his place on that defensive line. It'll be 2nd and 6 once they tend to the rookie out of Michigan.
I mean, Josh Williams has been one of the biggest surprise for the Indianapolis Colts this year. Drafted him out of the 4th round. They thought he would be a backup. And we talked to Jim Moore. He said, I'd be lying if I told you I thought he was going to come in and start and play for us and contribute as much as he has.
And Chad Bratsky was one to point out that he's been as surprised as anybody. He's been lining up next to him. And 96 got trampled on as Green came over the top. And you see rolling onto his back, and that's where Williams remains now with 10:09 left in the 4th. This game has been fast in spurts and then has slowed down to a crawl in other areas. And that's where we stand right now. Williams having a chat with the medical staff, and we'll step aside. 19-10 Green Bay. Green Bay with a 19-10 lead on the Indianapolis Colts. 10:09 left in the 4th, and Josh Williams being helped off the field, but mostly doing it on his own, and that's a good sign. Log on to NFL.com for an in-depth profile of Dolphins running back Lamar Smith, one of the true surprise stories in the NFL this season. He's having one of the best seasons in the National Football League. Check it out on NFL.com. So Josh Williams will be a spectator, at least for the short term. We'll see if it affects him for the rest of the day, as the Green Bay Packers now facing a 2nd and 6. And the clock starts once again. Ball spotted on the 44. After the long delay following the injury to Williams, Packers offense back on the field. Handed off, Ahman Green. And a crowd of Colts tacklers come over to make sure that Green picks up about a yard. Bernard Holsey among that group for Indianapolis. Teams, Jim Mora's team also playing in a crucial game if they want to win the AFC Eastern Division, trailing Miami by 1. On a 3rd and 5, Manning deep drop, floats it upstairs and throws it out of bounds. So the Packers forced to punt. The offense that was clicking in the first half is certainly not in the second half. Favre takes a hit from Mark Thomas.
Well, they stalled their offense. They tried to run the ball to milk the clock, to take time off the clock. And what Indianapolis has done is they put 8 men in the box. They know what Green Bay's going to do, and they forced Brett Favre on 3rd down to throw the football.
And Favre comes off limping a bit. He was walking on that left foot gingerly to begin with, even before the game started. Josh Bidwell gets it off. Takes a bounce. Did it touch a Colt? Loose football! And a scrum for it at the 23.
And that ball did touch a Colt. Now it's the matter who in the pile, at the bottom of the pile, has the strongest hands and the strongest arms.
It looked like Billy Austin of the Colts had gotten his hands on it, but as you just stated, was he strong enough to hold on to it? They are stripping away players from the pile. Now Indianapolis is indicating that they will have the football. Do the officials agree? Tom White backing the players off. It's Green Bay. Packers recover. And what a huge break for Mike Sherman's team.
And I said the biggest, strongest guy, David Bowens. You want to get yourself a 300-pounder at the bottom of the pile that's strong enough to wedge it away. And what it is, it's a scrum. You're at the bottom of the pile. Whoever can take it away from whoever has it last is the guy that's going to get the ball. They're going to let you fight for it. They're going to let you grab. They're going to let you claw. But whoever has possession of that ball, when they peel the bodies away, he's got possession for his team. Bowens takes it away. Look at that. He takes it right away from Austin.
It came off the foot of Mustafa Muhammad, and that's why we saw the action following it. It was a live football once it hit Muhammad, and Bowens doing a good job of recovering it. 1st and 10 now at the 23 of Indianapolis. Amon Green. And Green is brought down shy of the 20. Remember what the reputation was in Seattle. Green was known as a fumbler. Bratsky and Ellis Johnson combining to make that stop on Amon Green. Down to 8:35 left, 4th quarter. Indianapolis needed to get the football back, trailing by 9. It's still a 2-possession game once Jim Mora decided to kick the extra point. And another player slow to get up. This time it's Ellis Johnson.
And Ellis Johnson's just returning off a knee surgery from a few weeks ago. You know, he was questionable coming into today's game, but he decided to suit it up. He's played well in this game. And it's just amazing the athletes today, particularly the big linemen, that after getting a knee scope, they can come back within 10 to 12 days and suit up and play again.
2nd year of a 5-year, $25 million contract. Johnson, one of the quickest defensive tackles in the NFL. And Green Bay will have a 2nd and 8 from the 21. This has turned out to be a long possession for the Packers. We've had 2 injuries. We've had a fumbled punt return. And now Green Bay with excellent field position at the Indy 21. Larry Chester steps in to play defensive tackle for the Colts. On 2nd and long. Play action. Favre. Plenty of protection, rolling out, throws it high through the end zone and out of bounds. Chad Cota in a matchup with Antonio Freeman. And the clock stops with 8:03 left.
And that's the awareness of a Brett Favre. When we talked to Chad Bratsky, he says he has another sense. He can feel the rush coming. He doesn't have to see it. On that play, he knows the pocket's going to break down, so he sprints out to his right. He feels the pressure by Bernard Whittington coming from the backside and just throws it away.
Yeah, Bratsky also told us it's a lot of fun to play against a Brett Favre. And we asked him, does he talk a lot on the field? He says, hey, he'll only talk if you talk. So if you start talking to him, then he'll lay it on thick. But he won't necessarily initiate the conversation. Favre had a lot to talk about in the first half if he wanted to. Not much here in the second half. 19-10 Packers on 3rd and long. Favre intercepted, picked off by Johnson. So the Packers give it right back. Jeff Burris on a corner blitz, applying pressure on Brett Favre, and Favre gives it away.
Now this is a play where Brett Favre has to think and execute a little bit better. He feels the blitz coming from the outside. He wants to drop it off in the middle, and right there he can't get it to his receiver, Antonio Freeman. Ellis Johnson comes up with the interception, but for quarterback Brett Favre, he feels the pressure coming, throw the ball away. Don't try to make a big play. You're in an area where you can get points out of a field goal, throw the ball away, but Ellis Johnson comes up with a huge play for the Indianapolis Colts.
2nd career interception for the defensive lineman, and Indianapolis now has it on a 1st and 10 at the 17. Here's Manning trying to lead his team back. Manning avoids the rush. He almost has it picked off. Darren Sharper, and it would have been number 7 on the season for the free safety. Marvin Harris, an intended target.
And this is one of those plays Darren Sharper's going to have nightmares about tonight because the ball's right where he wants it. Look, he looks it in right to his hands. He's trying to pull it down. You've got to grab it first and gain possession of it, then pull it down. But nice job of reading the route, sitting back in the defense, and breaking out a ball. Marvin Harrison falls on the play, slips again. Another wide receiver for the Colts slipping out there again. I've said it before. Get those cleats checked on the sideline because that's a problem for the Indianapolis Colts offense.
On a 2nd and 10, Manning, 14 of 28 throwing the football, 163 yards, a touchdown, and an INT. E.G. Green turning on the sideline and forced out of bounds at the 27-yard line. It will be enough for a first down for Indianapolis. And with 7:44 left, now the clock continues to roll. 19-10, Green Bay leading Indianapolis. Packers with a 19-0 lead at the end of the first half. They have generated very little offense in the second half, and the Colts are trying to rally. Manning throws, finds a seam, and E.G. Green brought down at the 43. Move the chains again, 15 yards through the air.
And Peyton Manning now has a rhythm with E.G. Green. He's got the confidence. A lot of the wide receivers in his offense today, they've been dropping balls, and they haven't been going to the right spots in the defense to catch the balls for the offense. But E.G. Green seems to be the one receiver he's counting on today to pick things up for the offense.
Green having an excellent day receiving the football. Manning throwing again, up in the air and incomplete. Marvin Harrison came across the middle, and Darren Sharper did a nice job of breaking it up.
Now, we talked about Darren Sharper being a Pro Bowler because of his interceptions. Forget about that. He's playing great defense. Marvin Harrison here makes his break. It's a deep post. He thinks he's open right here, but a nice play. Darren Sharper just sticks his arm in there and rips the ball away. Marvin Harrison, that's a catchable ball, but that's a phenomenal defensive play by the free safety of Darren Sharper.
Harrison not even among the leaders in receiving today for the Indianapolis Colts. The Pro Bowl wideout has been held in check. 1 catch, 19 yards. Green has been the high man, 6 catches, 81 yards. And a 2nd and 10. Manning flushed out, throwing on the move. Catch made by James, and Edgerrin James avoiding tacklers. He's finally brought down as he crosses the 40-yard line. And they'll set it up at the 39 of Green Bay.
Edgerrin James will be the thorn in the heel of the Green Bay Packers defense. They have to make sure if Peyton Manning's going to throw the ball, somebody needs to be on Edgerrin James, because once he catches it, he will slip the first tackler and many times the second and third tackler.
69 rushing yards, 48 receiving yards. He's gone over 100 combined. Terrence Wilkins has checked in as a 3rd receiver. Here's Manning out of the shotgun. Manning steps up, throws, incomplete. Marcus Pollard had a chance to catch it, a lunging attempt, and then off the deflection, Darren Sharper was in the area.
Here's a nice defensive play by the Green Bay Packers. I think they need to bring a little bit more pressure. They're rushing with 4. That's great, but you haven't been able to get to Peyton Manning and put a lot of pressure. I think it's time now to put some pressure on the quarterback. It's been tough to get to Peyton Manning this year, only 10 sacks coming into the game. But now I think it's time to start attacking Peyton Manning and make him throw the ball a little earlier than he wants to.
And now a 2nd and 10. Line of scrimmage is the 39. Movement, no flag. Hunt got back, and a quick throw. Collision at the 30-yard line, and Harrison holds on to the football. Bernardo Harris was involved defensively, and that's a gain of 9. It's 3rd and 1. Colts rush up to the line of scrimmage. We will hit the 6-minute mark of the 4th quarter, and Green Bay leading it by 9. Tight formation. Hand it off, up the middle, Edgerrin James. First down, Indianapolis. That's a gain of 3 for James. Now the Colts have something going here on the offensive end.
They definitely do, and we saw them 2 weeks ago in Chicago where they fell behind by a bunch of points, 27 points, and came roaring back. And I think when we talk to Peyton Manning, that's something they can build on. They believe they can do that in the second half if they have to.
Manning throwing, dealt with the pressure, and dumped it off to Edgerrin James for a good gainer on first down. He picks up 7. Harris with the stop defensively.
What Green Bay's able to do is they're able to go in with different defensive packaging. If you look at the Indianapolis offense at this point, they're going in a no-huddle offense, but it's not a hurry-up, but it's allowing Green Bay to change some of their players and keep players fresh on the defensive side of the ball.
We have seen a switch offensively in this second half. Manning a strong throw to the sideline. Wilkins brings it in cleanly. And it is a first down for Indianapolis at the 11. Tyrone Williams made sure he was out of bounds. That's a gain of 10.
And a sweet play by Terrence Wilkins. He's almost the forgotten man. He was a starter in this offense. And when we talked to Jim Mora, he told us point blank, I don't know what's wrong with him. Right now, he's just having difficulty picking up the offense and making plays, and he's in a slot.
Indianapolis can still get another first down. The line of scrimmage is just outside the 10. Long drive for the Colts after the Favre interception. Resetting the offense. He sends James to the outside. Here's Manning stepping up, throwing, and dropped. James had a chance. Flag down. Nate Wayne had the coverage, and Wayne is irate.
Nate Wayne made a nice play on the ball, but he was there a half a step early.
So they will move the football right to the 5. It'll be 1st and goal.
Pass interference. Number 54, defense. That's an automatic first down. 1st and goal.
Can this Packers defense keep Indianapolis out of the end zone?
We'll take another look at it. Here's Nate Wayne. He's going to be covering Edgerrin James. Keep an eye on him. He's going to break on the ball. Oh, I don't know.
Bad
Unless
call.
he got him with his right hand earlier, it looked like that was a heck of a defensive play by Nate Wayne.
11th play of the drive and a 1st and goal for Manning. James in the backfield. Manning, fade, incomplete. He was looking for Harrison. Allen Rossum with the coverage in the corner of the end zone. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 5.
Now, when you look at this situation, on paper, the best wide receiver, Marvin Harrison. You've got your backup, Allen Rossum in there. That he's a guy that's more of your special teams guy, covering him one-on-one. I would think you would change your defensive philosophy to make sure that Marvin Harrison doesn't beat you.
On a 2nd and goal now. Jim Finn has checked in, the fullback. Here's Manning. Deep drop, roll out, catch made by Finn. End zone, touchdown, Indianapolis. First of his NFL career, Jim Finn, out of the University of Pennsylvania. And Indy is right back into this game.
I'll tell you what, this is confidence in Peyton Manning. He got one run in his career. He fumbled the football on the 1-yard line when they were going to score last week, but here he goes right back to him with the football. They were working on this before the game. He had Jim Finn out there early, working on his routes, building his confidence up, saying, your chance may come. Well, it came, he delivered. Mike
Vanderjagt. Extra point, and the Colts inch a little bit closer. Packers now with a 19-17 lead. At this moment, the safety is the difference. The first play from scrimmage for Indy. Green Bay fired out to a 19-0 lead. And now Indianapolis has cut it to 2. Manning to Finn for the touchdown.
Well, if you're Green Bay on defense, you're going to cover Marvin Harrison, Jerome Pathan, E.G. Green, Terrence Wilkins. You're not going to cover Jim Finn. He's only touched the ball twice this year, and he fumbled on one of them, but he's open. He didn't get the respect of the defense he deserved. He came up with a big play, and now you have to guard against every weapon of this offense because Peyton Manning is a computer. He's a machine on the field. He will look and read a defense, and he will find the open person no matter who it is.
Second touchdown of the day for Manning. And now he's hoping that he gets another chance to go out onto the field and lead this team to a victory. Green Bay had some opportunities to put points on the board. And that interception by Brett Favre also comes into play because now Indianapolis can win this game with a field goal. On the return, Allen Rossum taking it to the outside. It's a foot race. Rossum is gone. Touchdown Packers, 92 yards. Kickoff return for a touchdown this season for Allen Rossum. His longest return of the season, 92 yards. And just like that, the Indianapolis touchdown doesn't mean quite as much. It's 25-17, and an extra point will once again extend the lead to 9.
That's a one-play momentum swing for the Green Bay Packers. Wow. Now, you talk about hitting it 100 miles an hour. Keep your eye on Allen Rossum. He doesn't deviate on this play. He goes right behind the wedge, a full head of speed, 100 miles an hour, and he never slows down. That's the key. Return men are taught. Start at a sprint, stay at a sprint. Here he goes, 100 miles an hour. He never slows down. He still hits it. Picks his way through, still hits it. Now turn on the afterburners. He's got a kickoff man to get. Danny Kite, He can't catch him. No way in the world. It's over right now. Over but the shot, but that is a great job of doing what you're coached to do. Hit it 100 miles an hour and never look back. Watch his eyes. He never slows down. He wants to find where the wedge is. Okay, now hit it. Get through the first layer, get through the second layer. Now it's time to pick. Now it's time to turn down the speed, and it's over at this point.
There were a couple of impressive parts to that run, but when he kicked it into that 5th gear, that showed you the breakaway speed of Allen Rossum and
warp speed,
the leaping ability.
but he cheated. You see his left hand was on the top and pulled himself up.
Oh, he's tired.
Guy.
He's tired.
He's tired, but he's still only 5'8", but what a phenomenal job of turning the momentum around. He's had some good returns today, some very solid returns, and it was a matter of time where he was going to break one, and he did it at the perfect time for the Green Bay Packers.
4:16 left now in the fourth. Green Bay Packers with a 26-17 lead. Jim Mora's team had built up some momentum, trying to come from behind. Now Longwell with a kick. It takes a bounce to Wilkins. And Wilkins slips up, sideline run, flag down back at the 34-yard line of the kicking team, Green Bay. And an offside. Trying to come back here in the second half, trailing 19-0 at halftime. Green Bay still hasn't done very much offensively in the second half, but Allen Rawson electrifies the crowd with a 92-yard kickoff return. On a throw to the flat, Edgerrin James breaking some tackles and then tiptoes his way out of bounds as he crosses the 49. That's good for 11 yards and a first down for Indy. Clock stops, 3:58 remaining.
Peyton Manning has been a different quarterback between the first half and the second half. But in the fourth quarter, he's been miraculous. I mean, at his young age, coming into the league his third year, over 3,000 yards per year now, the first quarterback ever, 9 fourth-quarter comebacks. That's resilience. That's having confidence in the players around you and going out there and putting them to the test and coming through.
Manning on pace for a 4,720-yard passing season. He'll throw it here. Manning, strong throw to Dilger, the tight end. And the Colts picking up chunks of yardage on successive plays. They take it down to the 35-yard line, just shy of it. And another first down for Indy. 3:39 left. Clock is moving in the fourth. 26-17 Green Bay. Shotgun for Peyton Manning. Manning steps up, avoids the rush, throws, low throw. Did Dilger catch it cleanly? No. Incomplete.
Green Bay's gone to, and Ed Donatell, their defensive coordinator, is a 3-man rush adverse to their 4-man rush and dropping 8 now against Peyton Manning. Once they cross the 50-yard line, they want to put more defenders out in the secondary to make Peyton Manning think or to throw it underneath. And if you're going to catch it short and tackle him. Don't give up the easy big play.
Both teams still have all 3 timeouts remaining. Packers defense did a masterful job against Peyton Manning in the first half. He's been able to pick and choose his spots, though, here in the second half with 2 touchdown passes. Manning gets rid of it and drops. Edgerrin James.
And that's the classic situation, trying to run with the ball before you catch it. And Edgerrin James knows it. Here's another look at it. Peyton Manning gets a good job protection, but the right side of his pocket collapses a little bit right at the end. They run a TE stunt over there, but here's the ball. You're supposed to catch it first, hits him right in the chest, and then turn around and run with it. And he was turning his head as soon as the ball got it.
3:24 left. Now remember, Indianapolis needs 2 scores. A field goal here also helps them. Well, they need to pick up some extra yardage. Shotgun for Manning. Moving pocket, Manning on the run, pump fake, Manning sidesteps, throws, and caught by Wilkins. First down, Indianapolis, inside the 20. Great job by Manning as the clock moves down to 3:07 left, a 20-yard pass play.
You talk about a great job by Peyton Manning, the concentration, first avoiding the rush, but the touch on the pass. Watch the touch on the pass as he delivers it over defenders to drop the ball into Terrence Wilkins. And Terrence Wilkins, it's a drag. Just stay with the quarterback. Find a hole, stay with Peyton Manning. Look at Peyton Manning, you can see the down.
Out of the pocket again, Manning forced to throw it. Flag down, James catches it cleanly this time for a modest gain on first down. Allen Rawson was in to make the stop. And a pickup of 3, but as mentioned, a penalty marker against Green Bay. Colts will have an opportunity here.
Holding, number 43, defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's an automatic first down.
Though Indianapolis inside the red zone once again. 11-yard line is the line of scrimmage with 2:45 remaining in the fourth.
And looking at this Packer defense, I think this is the time you've got to take a chance. You've got to blitz Peyton Manning in the red area. Make him make a decision he doesn't want to make. Make him make it at least a quarter second or half second earlier than he wants to throw the ball, so it's not on a timely pattern.
Manning will buy some extra time. Out of the shotgun, steps up. Manning throwing, corner of the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Jerome Pathan. Indianapolis strikes back quickly.
I'll tell you what, that's awful close. I want to take another look at that. They're calling it a touchdown.
Manning finding Pathan back of the end zone, and we'll take another look.
This is a nice job of both quarterback and receiver being on the same page, but I want to take a look at his feet. Are both of them in? One. Oh, that's a great job by Pathan. Phenomenal. Tiptoeing the line. Did he have possession of it? To me, he did.
Well, now will Green Bay take a look at this? Clearly on that replay, the man had possession, Jerome Pathan.
We'll take another look, make sure he has possession, and both feet are in. Here's the ball. Here's the catch.
1-2, drag.
Yeah.
No doubt. Touchdown, Indianapolis. 2:39 left. And Jerome Pathan with his third touchdown of the season.
Here's the other angle, but Peyton Manning, his offensive line, protecting him to the bitter end, waiting. He puts the ball in the perfect spot.
Yeah. That's
perfect catch. Didn't get any.
That's obvious. That's now blatant, as we've seen it 3 or 4 times.
Green Bay has challenged the ruling on the field that this is a touchdown.
Well, this is going to cost them a timeout. Both the Colts and Packers had all 3 remaining. And you wonder if Green Bay is going to need one of those timeouts coming up in the waning moments of this game. Colts will line up for an extra point that would cut the Packers' lead to 2 with 2:39 left. After the breakdown on special teams, Jim Mora's offense did come onto the field and drove very quickly.
And they definitely did, and he hangs his team on his offense. There's no doubt about it. The defense does a decent job, but it's the offense that leads this team. And when they're behind, obviously they have to come back with Peyton Manning calling his plays out there, going with a no-huddle offense, moving the team systematically down the field to play in a hurry, and using the clock to his advantage. I don't think there's any better in the game right now. I think there's very few that are in that elite class of a Peyton Manning or Brett Favre. I think we have 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league right here.
You know what it is also, Mark, with Manning, and we've seen him so often over the last 3 years. We've never really seen him. Now, forget about the rookie year. You give him a pass.
Right.
Never seen him just put up a clunker of a game. Even if they lose the game, Manning at some point has exhibited his skills. He's never just gone out there and laid an egg.
Never. And even his rookie year, some of the games that we had before, he really didn't lay an egg. He was the only spark they had on their entire offense.
Replays. Reviewable. We've had 3 today.
Reviewing the play. The ruling on the field stands.
Yes.
This is a touchdown. The receiver had both feet down inbounds and completed the catch as he went out of bounds. This is a touchdown.
Yeah, that might have been record time.
Green Bay is charged a timeout.
And the key now, when Green Bay gets the ball back, they've got to turn the spigot back on the offense. They've kind of shut it down now. They can't afford to do that. They need first downs. They need to move the chains.
Only points they've put on the board have come off special teams. The Allen Rossum return here in the second half. They built the 19-0 lead in the first half. And now Mike Vanderjagt will attempt the extra point. Colts can climb to within 2. Here's Vanderjagt. Splits the uprights. It's 26-24, Green Bay. 2:39 left in the 4th. So now the Packers need a long drive. A long, sustained drive that can just eat away the clock. And what Green Bay is visualizing right now is the possibility of Indianapolis not seeing the football again. And the way the Packers offense has looked here in the second half, that is certainly no guarantee. A lot of smiling in the first half of action. Snow now, not a factor. It's coming down a little bit. It stopped basically, let's say midway point, second quarter.
Did, and I'll tell you one thing. There are no cheaters in Green Bay. Now, some people leave in stadiums.
Oh, no.
It's supposed to get out of the parking lot a little bit earlier. I don't see an empty seat in the house. They stay to the very end. This is going to come right down to the end. It's going to be a Donnybrook. And the key is Brett Favre. Can he execute his offense, move the chains, milk the clock? And right now, clock management is key for both teams.
Kickoff by Danny Kite. They've been short here today, and Rossum will get an opportunity from the 10. Here's Rossum looking to take it to the outside once again. Rossum forced out of bounds at the 31. 21-yard return. That's where Green Bay will have it, at the 31-yard line. And a 1st and 10 with 2:28 left. And Brett Favre, 136th consecutive start, an NFL record for quarterback, just building on his own record. The last quarterback to start a game for Green Bay other than Favre, Don Majkowski, back in September of 1992 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Over 8 years for Brett Favre as the starting QB. And now the Packers need him. Favre throwing on 1st down. Sliding catch by Schrader. Into Colts territory and down at the 47-yard line.
All right, you talk about a player that's come to play, Bill Schrader. One of the best kept secrets up here in Green Bay. He has had a phenomenal game. And it just seems like it's pitch and catch between quarterback Brett Favre and Bill Schrader from play 1.
2-minute warning here in the 4th. Green Bay nursing a 26-24 lead, but the Packers do have the football. They'll have a chance to ice it. 26-24, Indianapolis trailing Green Bay now with 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Here at Lambeau, Ian Eagle, Mark May, our entire CBS crew, and Mike Sherman's team now with a 1st and 10 at the Indy 47. Colts still have all 3 timeouts to work with. They will stop the clock, obviously, down the stretch here, just hoping for a chance to get the football back. Down by 2. Here's Favre, stepping up in the pocket, throwing. Almost intercepted by Burris, and a flag down. Antonio Freeman, the intended receiver. It's against the Colts.
Take another look at it. Jeff Burris just breaks on the ball too early on Antonio Freeman, trying to come up with a play. Good protection by the offensive line up front. Brett Favre's able to step in front.
Pass interference. Number 20, defense. That's a 1st down.
Now, Green Bay is getting 1st downs, but it does beg the question, why are you throwing the football right now with 1:55 left?
Because in a West Coast offense, they still believe that even a short pass is just as good as a run on 1st down as long as it's complete.
But the key here with the clock is use it.
I'd be pounding the ball. There's only 7 men in the box for Indianapolis. Pound the ball.
And they will here. Handoff. Amon Green. And brought down inside the 20.
And that's been his play today. That little misdirection, fake reverse, hand the ball underneath Amon Green. He's been killing the defense of the Indianapolis Colts, just crushing them with big plays. But here's another key. They're not taking a lot of time off the clock. They're coming up with huge plays, but no time off the clock.
Well, Indianapolis using a timeout with 1:54 left now. And the line of scrimmage will be the 17. Lambeau Field. Fans remaining here, dedicated, faithful for the Green Bay Packers. And their team in front, 26-24.
And Ian, here it's almost like a religion, football with the Packers. And it's not just a game, it's an event. Come 2 or 3 hours early, tailgate outside, barbecue outside, and then you can stay late an hour after the game, and it's just fun. It's part of life here. People wheel their season tickets down to generation and generation here in Green Bay.
1:44 left, and a 1st and 10. Handed off. Amon Green crossing the 15-yard line, and he's brought down at the 13. Another timeout for Indianapolis. And down to 1:37 remaining. Frank Winters